Hello, hello, and happy Friday. Yesterday, I started working on something. Oh, wait, first, let's do all this. I started working on something that's been around for a while that I wanted to do, which is reserving items for workers so that two workers don't go toward the same item anymore. And it's not going to fix every problem. There's still one issue that I think will stick around that I'm not actually too concerned with, which is many workers picking up, let's say, an armor item to bring them to the armor shop. So what happens is this scenario. We have, let's say, like 4 armor items in the warehouse, and let's say like 1 free armor slot in the shop. So if you have 4 workers will pick up the 4 items, even though you only have 1 free slot. The reason for this is because by the time they make it to the shop, more slots may have opened up. And if they do, you would want them to have like kind of pipeline things. Otherwise, you'd run into a different consumption problem where it's like, oh, only 1 slot is opening at a time. So now we have to wait for workers to bring them over there. And I guess we could let you control this behavior or something, but it's just not worth it. So yeah, I started working on this yesterday and I didn't finish it. I wanted to do the rest today. Item sources need a reserved bool. So we kind of have this, but I changed some things around. Let's change some more. So void reserved source, unreserved source, and maybe like bool can be reserved. Yeah, that's probably better. Now we got to go change every single one of these, huh? So this is going to be public bool can be reserved. We're not going to use a semaphore for this. This is just like return is reserved. And then this is going to set is reserved. Oh my God, I can't type. There we go. Okay, so we do all that and then we save this. So it can be reserved as long as it's not reserved. Yeah, there we go. Now we just copy paste this everywhere. So crop, it's the same way. This is bool is reserved. And then item display is the same thing. Is reserved. Okay, so now what? This is a bad idea. We don't have this need yet. So it should stay as a Boolean. When you drop an item, it needs to unreserve it. Without doing this, if a worker reserves an item and then you pick it up and drop it back down, workers will never find it again. Yeah, so where do you drop something? When you right click, here, drop item. The VS Code already broken. Don't like how that happens. Okay, let's try again. There it is. So stop holding item. We have an item source here now. Item source, question mark, unreserved. Hey, Xyletics. All right, I think that should do it. I don't know if there's any other way for this to end up being a problem. I need it, well, maybe there is. So this is done. This is done, this is done. This is probably done, but then is there a problem with dropping off only a single item from a stack? I don't think there would be, since it'll still be held on your cursor. Okay to DM you later with a bit of a weird question? Yeah, sure. And hey, leave here, girl. My DMs are just open to everybody. So as long as you, I guess, are in a server that we share, which you are, you're in like 3 that we share, then it should be fine. And then I'll give you my usual spiel about this. Today, the schedule is, morning and afternoon streams. So maybe I could see it at lunchtime, but if not then maybe like sort of late evening my time, which might be morning for you. Hey, Dad walking. Have you used NeoVim? No, I don't think I've ever used NeoVim, but I've used Vim, but I don't use Vim now. Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten this, downloaded it. Yeah, I sort of gave up on Vim maybe like, I don't know, more than 10 years ago at least. And the thing is, I think it's the best editing experience. Like motions, modes, the whatever you call them, the numbers that you can apply to these. Maybe that's part of motions. But you might ask, like, why not use Vim key bindings then? And I think part of it is just like, what is the paradigm of the editor you're in? And most of them now are multi-paradigm, but still, I just prefer to use what the editor exposes by default. Like Vim obviously exposes Vim key bindings by default because it's called Vim. VS Code does not expose Vim key bindings by default. You can turn them on. So it's like, I'll just stick to whatever the editor uses. But I do like it. I think, yeah, I think it's interesting. I also wonder, like now that I'm on a Colmac keyboard layout, if I ever were to use Vim again, it's like the arrow keys are supposed to be these 4 keys, but for me it's N-E-I-O. And like this would be a gigantic mess. So should I rearrange everything so that, anyway, I'd run into a bunch of issues there too. That's the short answer. I have to find the right words. Hope you have an awesome vacation. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and by the way, the vacation doesn't start till Wednesday for anyone who's hearing about vacation now and is like, oh, when's he going away? I'm gonna still be streaming on Tuesday. And then it won't be until I think it's November 3rd. Whatever the Monday is. So I think it's the 3rd. And I think one of the things we're going to look into then is localization and kind of like fleshing out the story mode content. But I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, so I think we're done with this. Let's go try it out. Then we just had some cleanup stuff. I showed a video on Discord of this, but I think it looks pretty cool, so I'll show this here too. Plus I need to test it. What's going wrong here? Oh yeah, this should just be, I need to search for this greater than 0. And we need to change it to can be reserved. Can be reserved. There we go. Because if the explanation I gave earlier doesn't make sense, then this will definitely make sense because it'll be very visual. So we're just going to start any game, I guess. Continue should work fine. Yeah. So let's say you have a whole bunch of crops ready to be farmed. Before this, all of your workers might go seek out the same one, and then only one of them will get it, and the other ones will all turn around. Now you'll see they'll all go to a specific one reserved for themselves. So they'll all move very smoothly and do this in as fast a time as they can. And you can see only one more character is coming over here because all the other ones know that that's reserved. So that's done. If I were to add a bunch of potions to the shop, it'll be the same thing. This is less obvious because when one is taken from somebody, they will have just wandered around anyway. And there are little ways in which this is actually less optimal. So as an example here, let's say I click grant items a bunch of times. This worker from really far away is walking, well, they're not, but let's say they were walking toward this one. And let's say they were over here. You have to wait for them to move all the way over there when another worker could have just preempted them. So sometimes preempting is a good thing. For something like crops, it's probably not a good thing. And we could just make it so that some things aren't reserved. Like maybe the warehouse items don't get reserved. So just anyone can try taking them. But another way in which this is really good is with keys. So when you have a bunch of keys over here, you don't want all the workers walking over here, then the one key to be taken, and they all just like turn around. So I do wonder if we should selectively use the reservation system and maybe not apply it to the warehouse. Because if they're going to go to the warehouse anyway, then they can just find another task there. But I don't know. Let's just try this and see what happens. Hey, Phil. But yeah, this feels a lot better to me. So now the question I have is if I click this and then drop it over here, can a worker go get it again? Yes. And then if I click it and drop it again, someone better go get it. Yes, but I'm going to click it again. Okay, now another person should go get it. Yeah, nice. So that's no longer an issue. Hey, Bokanot. All right, well, this is looking pretty good. So we're doing this. Is there a problem with dropping off? I don't think so, but I haven't actually tested this, so I guess let's go try it. I'm going to build the town hall, and we're going to do that, and we're going to... how do we do this? I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to put one there, and then let go. And someone, yeah, nice. Okay, I don't think there's a problem. Also, if there is, all it would lead to is a worker not picking up that item until you go click it, which would be an issue, I think. How opposed are you to including logic that's based on the closest available worker for the reservation? I don't like the idea because I guess there's a difference from a gameplay perspective. What you're talking about would almost be like a hive mind versus a collection of workers. Like if you had a dispatch system, an earpiece, you'd be able to know that, oh, there's someone closer, so I won't go check the warehouse right now. But like in this setting, it doesn't make as much sense. Also, this alone is already going to improve so much of the behavior that I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. More like, how's your mind? Boom. Yeah, Russell. Nice vacation haircut. Thank you. But yeah, I could see people probably wanting that to be the case, like make my workers move optimally. The other thing I wonder about is how will it change the balance of the number of workers that you have? Like right now in the game, let's just say you need 4. Will it lower it so that you only need 3 and now you don't have a reason to do a quest, or you don't pick the meta perk that gives you workers? Hey, Flair. Oh, no, I understand Xyletics, and I think it's a worthwhile question to ask. There's a whole bunch of like scheduling issues that could be here, but yeah, I think this is pretty good. So this seems like it's fine. So now we would have to clean up, and one of the things I have here is consider encapsulating the reservation system into a common component that can be added to the item source, like a Boolean item reservation system. It wouldn't remove many lines of code. All right, I want to just try this and see what happens. Like, how hard would it be? Because all of these are using the same code, but they all have an interface that they need to expose. And I guess it could be like oh, you know what? That's kind of interesting. I didn't think about that. Yeah, maybe I should do this separately. But what we could do here is instead of reserve, unreserve, and can be reserved, we could have something like item reservation system, get item reservation system. And they all just have a reference to an item reservation system. And then those have this function. Well, I guess this would be like item reservation system. And then those have these functions. And we call those correctly. Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. I kind of want to try that. Item source can change to this. Oh, by the way, item reservations only happen on sources, not destinations. So let's say all of these pick up some potions. They're not reserving targets over here. Oh, and also they're not even going over there. Okay, but when we click this, like they're all going to just walk over here. They might all be targeting this one, for example. And if multiple do try to target it, then they'll just like walk away for a bit and then put it back down. So I don't think that's a big deal. But it would be smooth if they all just magically went to where they're supposed to go. Planning traveling logistics for the trip after the next one. Fun, unironic. Is the conference the next one? The one in December that you were mentioning? Because I'm glad that you're doing another trip. You seemed like you really enjoyed the last one, and it seemed like just cost was maybe the issue. And I think there are ways you can sort of tone down the cost and still have fun. All right, so we're going to check this in, and then I think I'm going to try this, and we'll see how it feels. This is done. Bump the chance of a skeleton harvesting a crop. Oh, yeah. This is another kind of interesting thing. Right now, we have... I'll show this logic here. Where is it? Huh, that's weird. Where is this? Yeah. So right now what we try to do, this is a worker's logic. They try to find an item to pick up. And the first thing that they do is they try to find an item on the ground. Then they try to find something in the warehouse or a key. And then if none of this stuff works, so if there's no other item they can handle, they'll try to harvest a crop. And people always ask, like, how do I get my workers to harvest? What we could do is we could do something like this now that we have this reservation system. We could say, like, if percent chance 0.1, so 10% chance to find a crop to harvest before you do anything else. Like find crop to harvest, then return. And I don't know what we should make this percentage, because harvesting is something that you do better than your workers once you get harvesting efficiency, but that you probably still don't really want to do. And yet there's a spell that acts on unharvested crops, so like you want them to collect up. So I don't know whether we even should do this. So maybe we just make it a very tiny chance. Yeah, maybe we make it like a 3% chance. So I'll just write that down. And then this stuff, yeah, cool. Okay, this is all gonna go pretty clearly. Next one is Godot Fest in Munich, which is in a few weeks. Oh, a few weeks. Okay, that one's already all planned out. What I'm planning for is GDS in Prague in the start of December. GDS. Game Developer Session. Cool. Yeah. Hey, Boolean. I think this is exciting as an outsider. I don't like doing this stuff myself. And I always wonder, am I hurting myself by not doing it? Like, should I be going to TwitchCon? Should I be going to whatever, GDC? Should I be going to PAX? And yeah, I don't know. I think it's slightly different when you have a released game versus when you are still in the demo phase. But I wonder if I should write down that I should consider more conferences. Okay, so we're gonna go clean this up. Maybe I should write some comments for this. Marks this item source as reserved so that other workers won't try to take items from it. This is helpful when there are 20 free workers and like 2 free workers and 2 crops to be harvested. You don't want them both going to the same one, only to have one of them back off and do something totally different when their target crop is harvested. Comment can probably be better. The opposite of reserve source. Use this to mark that an item source is no longer being reserved. And this is, no, there. It's pretty good. The cost to marketing value is absolutely not worth it. It's usually good because you get feedback from other game devs and network. I'd say those things are hard to figure out the value of because this is the only way to do it, so nothing to compare it to. I get what you're saying. I don't know about this part. This is the only way to do it. You can reach game devs in other ways. And you can network in other ways too, I guess. Although the networking part is probably more valuable in person. So yeah, that I might agree with. But yeah, as far as feedback, I think you can still get feedback from other game devs. But anyway, this is a minor, like, pedantic point almost. I agree with you. I think there's more value than just marketing. Marketing, networking, feedback, and just kind of the fun aspect of it, seeing other people's games, being at a convention, putting yourself in a different environment or scenario. And travel is part of the fun aspect for some people. So yeah, I think for me, it's like, okay, I'm getting the feedback already. I don't think I would find the travel fun. I generally haven't found conventions fun in the past. But yeah, marketing and networking would probably be there. So yeah, I would probably benefit from those. You'd want to meet us by going to TwitchCon? Man, that's scary. I don't know how I feel about TwitchCon. I think I mostly don't like the idea for myself because there are really only kind of 3 purported reasons for going, at least as far as the convention is. It's like meet streamers, meet viewers, or listen to the talks, I guess. Like, I don't care about this at all. And so meeting streamers and viewers, like, how much do I care about that? I think any streamer you would go to meet is probably already going to be meeting so many other people that it's hard for you to get a lot of time. And then viewers, I have met a bunch of viewers before, sort of individually and over the years. And almost every time it's been a good experience, but that's because I sort of vetted people first. So if I went to TwitchCon, I wouldn't be vetting people anymore, right? It would just be like, hey, I'm here at TwitchCon, standing in the whatever part of the conference center. Come over and say hi. And then a bunch of people come over and say hi, and it's, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't like that. I've been going to these even before I had a game. Yeah, I haven't been to many conventions or conferences, but the ones I have been to, I just generally haven't liked. Even ones where I'm purely a consumer there, like BlizzCon. I went to BlizzCon and I was like kind of bored by day 2. I really liked the StarCraft tournament though. That was like the coolest thing ever. I'd never been to a gaming tournament in person other than ones I'd participated in, like Smash Bros tournaments. And that was super cool. Loved it. But in my mind, that's almost like a sporting event. It's like you have a collective of people who are all enjoying the same thing, who are reacting in real time. It's like going to a movie theater for a comedy movie and hearing other people laugh. It's just a nice thing, I feel. All right, so we got to move these around. And same thing with this. Hey, graphic, why do you rate what you say? Part of it is because I'm context switching a lot and I want people to be able to follow what I'm talking about. And part of it is just this is how I organize my thoughts. Which year did I go? It was the year that Mists of Pandaria was about to come out. So you could probably figure out when that is, but I don't remember what year that was. But I would guess like 2012 or something. I'm not sure. All right, that looks fine. And this stuff's all fine. Yeah, I mean, except for that we wouldn't do this. Anything else? No, it looks pretty good. Okay, so add item. Oh, this needs to be moved down. Add item reservation system. All right, so workers or item sources now have a reserved, like a set of reservation functions. So that two workers won't target the same item source. That was a long time ago. Oh, the one that Clem won? I don't remember who was even playing. I just remember it being nice to watch. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, note that I used a Boolean reservation system rather than a semaphore because we only ever need one worker to handle something. If we had, say, 50 items in a pile and could have 16 workers handle it, then we would need a semaphore. I'll write 25. I don't know why I'm making weird numbers here. Did I hear my name? No, that was BOOL, Boolean. MOP released in September 2012. I went to 2 BlizzCons. So you're saying we might have met. Actually, someone lost their phone at the BlizzCon I went to, and I ended up like returning their phone somehow. I don't even remember how I found them, but I returned their phone. Did you lose your phone at BlizzCon? Did I return your phone? Hey, Initial, how'd you learn to type like a stenographer? This is not a steno keyboard, if that's what you're asking. These are like every key here is one letter. Whereas the steno keyboards, you're typically typing syllables. So if you mean how did I learn to type without looking, that's, I mean, just kind of, it's almost like taking a typing class. You just look down to make sure you know where the letters are and then slowly stop looking down to see where the letters are. Imagine the small world if I had been the one to lose my phone. I know. That'd be crazy. Yeah. All right. This was a long time coming and this was not very hard to do. And we still have some cleanup that I need to do, but I will do that in a separate commit. Yeah. Been looking into split keyboard. Did you build it yourself or did you get a complete one? I built it myself, yeah. And I mentioned this a bunch of times, but I have LEDs under the keys, but they only work for the right half of the keyboard. I just didn't solder it well enough for it to work for the left half. So that's a problem with me building it myself. And I like the LEDs and I really like to use them. Hey, Midor. Do you use home row mods? I use mods on the home row, but home row mods to me are dual function keys. And I really, really strongly dislike dual function keys. So instead, it's like if I want to hold shift, I can enter a layer and press shift, which is on my home row. That wasn't even the shift key. There, now shift is held. So now if I press U, it's going to type a capital U. But I don't like doing that right from the main layer. I just ran into too many issues. And I know there are options you can change, and I never found a setting combination that would work. Okay, let's go code this thing. So we need an item reservation system. This is going to go here somewhere. So let's just save this file like so. Represents a reservation system for item sources. And then this is going to have the functions that we currently put here. And then this is going to have an item reservation system, get reservation system. Cool. Guess I'll need to learn soldering. You don't have to. You can get a pre-built one. And I'd recommend that route if you can afford it, because I don't think saving the kind of small amount of money on just like soldering and sourcing the parts yourself and everything, I don't think it's really worth it. Now again, if you can't afford it, it's definitely worth it because that's the only way you'll get it. But yeah, soldering is not fun if you haven't done it before. It's stressful. And by the way, I talk about this in, I have another keyboard video, Adam13531 keyboard. This one. And in this video somewhere, where is it? Okay, yeah. In this video, I talk about how tiny these components are that you're soldering. Do you see this in the video? There's like a little black blur right here. That's how big a diode is. It like fits on your fingertip. And you have to solder that point and that point. And it's just really, really hard. I have a little blooper video in here that if you haven't seen this, where is it? Yeah, this actually happened as I was recording. I recommend watching that video because it's very stupid. Can definitely say I don't enjoy soldering. I don't enjoy it either. I'm also terrified every time I'm like inhaling any soldering fumes. You're supposed to have a ventilator or something, and I wear like a mask, and I'm just thinking like, I can still smell this. That's probably destroying my lungs. Okay, so now we got to go make something that implements this. This is going to be very, this is going to be very similar to item display in the first place. That's in scene scripts though. Is there anything that's not there? Like ground item sort, that's in scene scripts. Well, whatever, let's just put it here. So we're going to call this Boolean item reservation system. Yeah. Very funny video. Okay, now let's go to item display. Just copy paste all of this. So this is going to be a Boolean item reservation system, which is going to implement an item reservation system. It's going to be in game source items. And it's going to have a few functions. Going to have this. And it's going to have can reserve this. And that's it. That's the whole system. It's really not that bad. Now let's see if we can take this stuff out of here. So we're going to make a Boolean item reservation system. Item reservation system equals new. Why is this yellow? Make field read only. Sure, yeah. And then we make a single function here. Done. Then all of these things would need to change. And all colors of it. That'll be fun. Got any good Next Fest recommendations? Yeah, I'm kind of curious. What are the tops of people's lists? Oh, and actually, now that that's there, let's take a look. Because it's been enough days where they now organize it for you, right? Where's the list? How do you do this? Charts. Popular and upcoming. Popular, upcoming. Half Sword. Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Oh, wow, this looks pretty good. I just tried Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on my computer yesterday, and I was like, this looks like the most dated game. But this looks like an overhaul of that. I don't care about these. What is this? Survival co-op. Looks like Minecraft a little bit. Cairn. Looks like Stranding? Death Stranding? Menace. Don't care. Anything that says choices matter, I'm like, this is not a game for me. I don't care if my choices matter in a game, and this tends to mean it's story-driven. Power Wash Simulator 2? Oh my god. How did this make it to the top of the list? Come on. Come on, people. I played Power Wash Simulator 1, and it was the jankiest multiplayer experience. Tears of Metal? No, this was pretty interesting. Oh, is it like oh, what's that style of game called? The Dynasty Warriors games? Looks like a roguelike Dynasty Warriors. Huh, interesting. Yap Yap? Okay, it's got horror in the tags. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here. Tavern Keeper. All right, that's the last one I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna close the other tab. What is this? Neat. Take care, Pressel. Have a good workout. Moon Sigil Atlas. Oh, it's a deck building game. Also, look at how many people are streaming in Next Fest. They probably read all the advice that you gotta have a stream running. This stream has 14 people watching it right now. Well, this isn't the stream, but this Steam page's stream. I tried Ball X Pit, and it's a survivors game dressed up like a breakout game. And it's like super incremental. And I just don't like that idea. I feel like the game itself is good enough. It just feels like they wanted to extend the gameplay by so much. And I get why that's done. It's like if a streamer really likes a game, the longer they cover the game, the more people can see it. So you want to hook someone in, and also probably streamers want to find like, here's my next game for the next couple weeks or something, and not just here's my game for the next 2 hours. Yeah. Okay, well, we got to finish changing the rest of this. I'm just yammering on. I'm doing the old yap yap. All right, so ground item source needs to be the same way. Thankfully, this is kind of the same general thing we're doing for all of this. Is reserved can be deleted. Then can be reserved should be removed and replaced with this. Then this changes. And then I think we have one more of these. What, crop? Farm? What did this? Crop? Yeah, it must be this. Can be reserved. Go delete this. Public. Cool. Replace this one. All right, so now there are going to be some errors that we should be able to fix incredibly easily. Solder free sets? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Confidence in my game is greatly bolstered. Yeah, so, okay, this is the part I didn't really talk about. I said it's a survivors-like game, this thing that I just played. I don't think it does a whole lot different from other survivors games. I think the setting is a little bit different, but that's kind of how I feel about a lot of deck builders. Like, Monster Train has slightly different mechanics from Slay the Spire, but I kind of looked at Monster Train as just a Slay the Spire expansion or something. It just felt like I already knew how to play the game. And I get that that's what genres are. It's like if you play FPS number 1, then playing FPS number 2 is going to make you feel like, oh, there are guns. I've already done this before. But I want like enough of a reinvention. Now, also my opinion shouldn't matter too much because the game's doing fantastically on Steam. Yeah, overwhelmingly positive for 1,256 reviews. So people like the game. Okay, so this is going to be Git reservation system. And that's going to be done pretty much everywhere. So this is one of those, like, we could have made proxy functions on the item source knowing that it's going to have... Oh, wait a second. Could we do this? Oh, I didn't even think about this. Yeah, we probably could. We could just have a... let me try this. So if I do bool can be reserved, and I have this go to that should be fine. So we could proxy these in the interface. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Well, then that fixes all of this stuff, right? I don't even need to do this anymore. Why does it say it does not contain a definition? Oh, because you need to cast it to an item source for that? Item source? Oh, that's annoying. Okay, I guess I don't want to do that. How come C# can't figure this out though? This is a concrete class, and that concrete class is an item source. But I guess it explicitly does not have the can be reserved thing on it. But this cast won't fail. If I said item destination, I'm guessing the cast would... Well, it doesn't contain the thing. There's no type that extends it implements that. Okay, so yeah, you'd have to do this. Okay, which one's better, I wonder? So style 1 would be this, and style 2 would be get item reservation system. This isn't super important, but I do want to think about this a little bit. So here what we're doing is we are proxying the functions for you, so you don't need to know that this thing has an item reservation system. You just know that sources can be reserved, and you don't care how they do it. So yeah, I feel like style 1 is better here. Okay, fine. Well, then we have no... Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll go change all this stuff. I gotta change something I already changed in here, right? Unreserve. Where is this? Yeah, so this is gone. Let me say item source. Actually, this might already be there. Yeah, wow. Okay. Anything else? Yep, this one. That's fine. And what's the problem in here? So crop can be reserved. This is because it's an item source. Cool. Now we just keep doing this. Why can't the AI do this for me at this point? I don't want to type this. And same thing here. All right, any other errors? And then I want to look at this diff and see, am I happy with this overall? Because I'm assuming this works. What are the odds I mess something up if it builds? Because all I did is move some functions around. So let's just wait for workers to come take this stuff. They should all go to different ones. Nice. Yeah, no errors there. All right, yeah, so let's look at the diff. Whoops. Quit that. Okay, so we now have an item reservation system that contains all of this, which used to be spattered across 3 different classes. So we've cut down on that duplication. And even this is technically unnecessary, right? We could just call... Why doesn't that work? Unreserved. Does not exist in current context. We need to say like item source this. That's kind of weird. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay, well, that's the technically correct way of doing this, I would say. Although this thing, it's fine if it knows its own. No, I'm going to do it that way. I think it's okay. Do I need to do that everywhere now? Okay, so yeah, a bunch of deleted code here. So we got rid of 10 lines of code. That's nice. Then this is its own standalone class. This is good, but I somehow deleted the comments. Where did those go? Oh, they're over here now. Yeah, it's fine. Well, yeah, I think it's fine. Item reservation system equals new. Looks good. So delete this. And same thing here. Yeah, nice. Now, pretty much all of this looks like is in the same general spot. I want to look at that file. Can be reserved. Interesting. This could have just been an item source. They don't need to be crops, and then we don't need to cast this here. Wait, we do because of... Oh, okay, my bad. All right, never mind. For me, it was more like, you know how people are always saying X number of games are released on Steam every day? They're your competition. When you play random games from NextFest, it becomes apparent that most of the games released every day are not competing in the same category. Yeah, and they're not on the same quality level, too. But I think games don't have to be in the same category to be at least semi-competing. At the end, what you're competing for is attention and money, generally. And if you have someone who's been playing Dota for like 5,000 hours, they're probably not cramming in as many indie side games as someone who just never started playing Dota or didn't have a Dota equivalent, you know, League of Legends or D4 or Overwatch or whatever game you might be playing. It's like you sink so many hours into this game that your attention is saturated. So in that sense, I think that's why people get a little bit on edge about it. Refactor out a common reservation system. This removes quite a lot of duplicated code. And then there was just one more thing I wanted to do, which is this, which I already have written out. Okay, let's try this and let's see how it feels. So I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna say there's a 10% chance that you harvest a crop before doing anything else. I don't think people will probably like this, at least not at 10%, but let's find out. Dota pretty much started as a Blizzard game. Fan-made extension to a Blizzard game. So we're gonna have a bunch of items here and a bunch of crops. And let's get the shops too. So there's a 10% chance any one of these workers is going to get a crop before, yeah. So we see a couple of workers coming down here to harvest. And they're going to do that and then probably just, oh, well, that one's harvesting again. So that had a 1% chance of doing that. To harvest 2 times in a row. But yeah, you can see they're mostly going and getting items. So I wonder if people would be happy by this or not happy. I want to upgrade the shops. And I want to add a bunch of customers. Yeah, so here we go. This character's coming down here. Although it's maybe because, no, they're actionable items. Oh, and they harvested again. If they were to do this, you know what I think would probably be best? Is if they went into like harvesting mode for a short amount of time. I think that would be better. where a worker just decides, I'm going to go harvest 3 or 4 crops at a time. Because then they come down here, they bring the crop over to here, they come down here, they bring the crop over to here. Instead of like harvest one crop, go all the way up to here, bring it to the armor shop, then come back down for a second crop. So yeah, that's what we should probably do, and not just like a tiny chance of then coming down to harvest one thing. Although with a 10% chance, it does show you that your workers can harvest crops, which is kind of nice. A lot of people want their workers to harvest crops and think it's impossible, and then they start looking for an upgrade. So if we did things this way, you'd be like, oh yeah, they are occasionally doing that. So maybe if I just didn't have anything else for them to do, and sure enough, if I have them speed through all their other tasks, which, I mean, even speeding through it's going to take a while. Once all these are emptied, they're only going to go for crops. Yeah, so now they're all harvesting the crops. Okay, I'm torn. I see pros and cons for either way here. So option 1 is have workers, or like give workers a small chance, maybe like 10%, of harvesting a crop before doing something else. And option 2 is, well, I guess there are 3 options. Don't change worker logic at all from what it is. They'll only harvest if they have nothing else to do. And option 3 is change the workers so that they get into harvesting mode, where they'll harvest a few crops and then stop. Thought about allowing players to set their own priorities. Yeah, so in my mind, that gets you closer to a factory game where you are changing things on a finer grained level. And I don't want that from a design perspective. I want to keep this very casual. And I think the more you have to manage workers at any given moment, the more it's going to feel like you're micromanaging. I get the irony of that, given that you're just moving a bunch of items around in bone mode, but you don't have to. And I guess you wouldn't have to do this either, but I don't think I want them to have that customization. But yes, that would be an option 4, which I just don't want to opt for. Let players configure the behavior. I'd rather not complicate the game this way. So give workers a small chance. The pro is that people will learn that their workers can harvest. And the con is that it'll happen so infrequently that it doesn't really help very much. Here is the pro is that harvesting is something you typically do best, and it adds actions for the player. Okay, this is an important part that I forgot about, the whole adds actions to the player. So if we do this, we got to make it a very small chance, but we could make it a very small chance. And I guess this isn't really a big con. But yeah, the con here is that people aren't aware in story mode that their workers can harvest. Option 3, the pro is that workers will save time when harvesting by doing it in batches. The con is that, at least in bone mode, there's a perk lets you harvest all crops at once at a bonus, and it would be less useful if you have fewer crops to be harvested at a time. More base building management games to me. Yeah, I think both share the same thing in common of having more fine-grained controls if you want it. It reminds me a lot of something like Roller Coaster Tycoon. There are a lot of different aspects of that you can go in and customize. And that if you're an advanced player, you might want to. And I kind of wonder how many, like, it's kind of true of any game that if you have the metrics, then you can find out what the majority of players are actually using. And that goes for anything, right? A game feature, settings. Like let's say we have the settings here. How many people customize UI sounds? Probably not too many, at least just based on what I've seen. So yeah, in this, how many people would go in and customize like the names of their workers? How many would go in and change their behaviors exactly? Some people might, and I guess if the option doesn't cost you much to develop, it's maybe worth adding. But otherwise, I think it's better to spend dev time elsewhere. I think what I'm leaning toward, and this I guess sounds a little bit weird, I'm leaning toward this. Oh, that didn't work. I'm leaning toward this, at least for story mode. But I don't see why we would just keep it in story mode. And I think we just make the chance be like 5%. Yeah, I think I want to do this. Let's maybe try it. I'll set it to 5%. We'll go into industry mode and we'll just see what happens. Hey, Matt. Oh, yeah, I wanted to do a release today. I almost forgot about that. Well, we'll see how far we get. Okay, so we're going to make a new game. I'm going to start with, how many points do I have? 45. All right, let's start with another customer. Let's start with another couple workers. Let's start with a couple of town perks and some battle perks. So we're going to start with 2 extra workers, except for we're doing industry mode where you start with a ton of extra workers anyway. And I want to purposely get the farm and see how it feels when workers can sort of preempt you and go do this thing anyway for you. Might as well turn on the music for this. Okay. So what did I get? Shiny loot, free treasure chest, stocking frenzy potency, and well water. Yeah, so I want to get the treasure room and the farm, and both were offered. I'm getting free chests more frequently now. So yeah, we have tons and tons of workers. I don't have to do anything. Except for drink some water. Actually, if I purposely don't get the garbage slime, then I'll just wait up here. And then I can turn this on and make them give me keys. Nice. Actually, and with the reservation system, why is... Oh, only that person's gonna go up there and get it? Yeah. Nice. Okay, so we're just waiting for some money to come in. I'll drag this here. Oh, they're still gonna... Nope. Do I have these characters? I have the rogue, and I have... What's the other one? The mage. So yeah, only the rogue is gonna help. I want to get the farm, and I want to get another adventurer. Alright, just do that. Ooh, we're getting a lot of money now. Okay, let's get another adventurer. And then we're going to work toward the farm. Ah, the item reservation system is working, Matt. I don't know if you saw the Discord message, but now whenever there's an item on the ground or a crop to be harvested, a worker will internally reserve it. So now instead of having like 10 workers walk up here and try to grab a key, one worker will say, oh, that's mine, and go walk up there. Let's do this. All right, build the farm. Nice. And we're going to get another worker. So what we're testing right now is there's a 5% chance that a worker will preempt anything else and just go grab a crop. However, we have so many workers that they're not all going to have something to do anyway. So they're going to go grab crops. Sure, let's take that. Yeah, I guess we can turn this on now. Get some keys. So yeah, we have a ton of weapons. Now we have a ton of potions. I guess we just stop fighting here. Works for crops too? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, now I don't have any workers who are free other than maybe this one. But they have items on the ground to go fetch. But yeah, if we had like all 50 workers were free, only 4 of them would come down here. Hey again, Pillar. How's it going? How did your streams go? Let's get that. I'll reroll this. I'll get that one. Okay, so all my workers are doing nothing. We should probably get the garbage slime and free them all up. Because they're just going to stand around forever. Yeah. Or get the warehouse or something. Oh, nice. They bought another one. They're going to kick them back off later today because of a heart issue. He's online for quite a number of days. Wow. I hope everything's better. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. For what it's worth, if you'd been streaming every day for like a year and then you had an emergency or something, people are usually pretty resilient to that stuff as viewers. Like, they'll still be around afterward. So I've gone on long vacations before, and I'm like, is anyone going to be there when I get back? And they're usually still there. Someone is, at least. All right, let's build something. Yeah, that. Although I don't recall why. Oh, because I got Entropic Magic. And let's level up some of these. Max customers, sure. So I should probably stop finding so many items. Hey, Kevin. And hey, ABC. Now we only need target reservation. So I actually don't see this as being a problem. I know that players don't necessarily like it. I guess if your workers are totally stranded, but this signals to you that you need to be doing something different. So in this case, it's like we should probably get either the warehouse or the garbage slime. And then we'd have slightly less of a problem until we can level up some other things too. Yeah, now they're going all over the place. But we need more customers. Now in bone mode, there's only so much you can affect here. Although nice, we are starting to get some of these things. Workers are freeing up. Let's get the garbage slime. That's going to free everyone up. So now they're all just going to run to the garbage slime. Eat them everything. There. And there we go. No more workers waiting around forever. Can the target system work for depositing potions too? For, you mean the reservation thing? Of like, could they stop them from coming here? If that's what you're asking, yes, we could make it do that, but I don't want to. And it's for one specific situation. Like, let's say you have 10 potions in the warehouse and you have a shop size of 10 and it's filled already. So now one potion sells. So now you have one free slot. So now a worker picks up an item. Actually, all 10 workers. 10 workers pick up all 10 potions and go to the shop. The reason I wanted this to happen is because if one potion sells, probably another potion will sell, and then you don't want to have to wait for it to sell for a worker to walk all the way to the warehouse and then go bring it to the potion shop. So this allows them to pipeline, but it also means that they can get stuck there. So yeah, I think that's just part of the game in my opinion. But I get why people might not like that. Alright, we need another adventurer, and then we need to send them off into the next place. Count the potion as deposited when a skeleton targets the extractor and starts walking to it. It's going to be full. All skeletons aren't trying to walk to the extractor. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's the same general idea, I guess. And I'm probably not going to change that. At least not at first. And also keep an eye on feedback. This is something that people have talked about, or at least that I've seen, and I've been like, we gotta fix that. All right, I'm not actually trying to play this game, so let's just... I was gonna look at the whole harvesting crops thing. What we could do is we could base this on if you're in story mode. Add a small chance to prioritize crops so that people understand that their workers can harvest. It's not people, it's new players understand that their workers can harvest. Yeah. Why is battles here? What? Why is that there? Because that's where stat computation is? Oh, wow. All right, well, percent chance shouldn't be in there, but whatever. All right, so add small chance to harvest to make harvesting. There's no way to say this in 50 characters. Add small chance to prioritize harvesting. Does that fit? Yes. How many characters is that? I'm curious. 41. Okay, I did it. This is more to show new players that it's possible for workers to harvest. It shouldn't make a huge impact to any aspect of gameplay. All right, then see if there's an open issue for this. So reserve. Consider making workers and customers reserve items. Yeah, I mean, this is what we did. We just added a Boolean. So this is basically done, but I only did it for item sources, not destinations. And it's done as of this. Now means 20 workers won't all flock to the same crop to harvest it. Oh, I should take a break, shouldn't I? All right, any other thing about reserving here? Reserve, no. All right, so that's done. And that's done. Noise. Oh, well, not the polish thing itself. I guess we should just delete this and then tab everything back. Except for now they're not to do items. All right. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to go take a quick break and then we're going to keep chugging through this list. It is becoming more and more manageable by the day. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again, everybody, and hey, Neon Fox. I hope you all had fun. I see we had a couple of new players here. And you came in second and third. Nice. Yeah, so I mentioned this before, but for anyone who has already been, for anyone who's a subscriber, like if I type color blue, does that not work? Oh, name color blue. Yeah, like I can change my name color, but I want it to be F0F. Does that work? Yeah. But anyway, close the game. You got to do that at the beginning of the game, and it's only for subscribers. I think it's only for subscribers, actually. I don't remember. Did we make it so name color can work for everybody? Name color. For subscribers, VIPs, and moderators, yeah. Yeah. So those commands, I closed the game anyway, but even if the game had been running, I don't think it would have worked. But hey, Santo Teresa. All right, so let's keep working through this list. Workers should probably not continue to pick up a key if there's no suitable target for the key. By the time they arrive, they end up putting them in the warehouse. Okay, let's go take a look at that, because I don't know what it's going to take to stop this. Funny game. Yeah, I think it's pretty, I think it's cool. I like seeing people jump off the edge there. There's no harm in this game. All right, so worker wander tries to find something to pick up. So there's find key for chest. This does this, find item source, goes into reserve, return true. And then if we return true, we transition to pick up item. So how does pick up item work? Reach target. It'll just pick up the item. Yeah, so what I think I want to do is if they picked up a key, or if they're about to pick up a key, I guess I should say. If they're about to pick up a key and the key is no longer going to be for a valid chest, I think I don't want them to pick it up. So they will have walked all the way over there, which is kind of a problem. Do we have anything that stops them from doing that? Only these things. If it no longer has the item or if the item is now held. Yeah, I mean, we could just check to see if the key has a target. I don't know if I want to do that. Well, let's code it and then just see how it feels. So item equals that. If item dot category is equal to a key, then I want to check to see if there's a treasure chest. How do we do that? Find key for chest. Yeah, here we go. So how does this work? We check to see which keys will be accepted. And we do this on every single state process. Yeah, maybe what we should do here is public static hash set item ID get acceptable key IDs for chest. So this should be exactly what we have here, right? Find all keys where... No, this looks a lot better if you do this first. So all keys where, yep, this is exactly the same. Return those. So now this could change so that this is just get acceptable keys for chest. Get rid of this. Right? We don't need that? Yeah, we don't need that. And then this could change. So if there are no chests that would accept the key that we have, then drop the key. Item display functions dot get acceptable keys for chests. This would be entity dot contains item dot ID. So if it doesn't contain it, then go into the worker wander state. And why is this failing? Takes in a town? Oh. Sure. Town equals town component. I get town. All All right, again, this is going to happen on every single state process, and I think this is O of n here. Yeah. And then this is also this is also O of m, but m is, I think, 4, no matter what. But we can make this a little bit better by just only having it happen once every second or something. All right, so what are we doing here? We are going into, I guess, story mode. I need the treasure room. I have it. And then I need there to be, how do we do this? Okay, I have an idea. We do this. We make a bunch of keys. Now workers are gonna walk toward them. And then before they get there, I'm going to make it so the chest can't be open, and then they walk away. Perfect, that's exactly what we want. So that is working. If I were to go open these and then speed this up, they'll handle all those items. And then I make a new chest here, and now workers will walk toward the keys. They'll have reserved them. Why are they not doing that? Oh, because all of these are walking toward the keys? And they already reserved them? Hello? What's going on? Oh, they never unreserved them. Oh my god. Oh, this is a problem. Oh, no. Yeah, they're all marked as reserved. I wonder if this is a problem anywhere else. Anywhere a worker could get preempted, this might be a problem. Well, I guess we just have to unreserve it in this case, right? So where did I write that code? Where is it? Where did I write that? Oh, it's in pickup. It's not in wander. Yeah, here it is. So not only do we transition, but we also say tc.target.unreserved source. Yeah, that would work. I think it would, assuming the player fills a shop and a worker is going to pick up an item for that shop. You think what would? I don't know. I don't remember the thing I said before that. All right, so we're gonna do the exact same thing. So if there's a chest here, they're gonna start walking toward it, the keys. So these are all coming straight up to here, but before they can make it there, I open the chest. The item would stay reserved. Oh yeah, in this case, it's definitely saying reserved, but now they should be unreserved. So now they should be able to walk over and get these keys, yeah. So we fixed that bug. So this is exactly what I wanted to see. Like some of them are gonna walk over here and not need to even pick up the key. We still run into a case where someone was already holding a key and then they put it in the warehouse. The only way to stop that would be to reserve destinations. And to reserve destinations, we would need a semaphore. I'm also not certain it's even worth doing. So I'm just not gonna do it right now. Because I don't think this is a big deal. And with free treasure chests and bone mode, you'll eventually just get another treasure chest. You'll get it no matter what, whether it's story mode or bone mode. Yeah. Okay. So do I want to keep this code? The only real problem with this code is that this is being called on every single frame. Oh, you could just put it in a timer. Alternatively, maybe like is holding key without valid target or without valid chest. And we put all of this in there. And then just return true. TC doesn't exist here. We get the target component no matter what. We do. All right, fine. So then just pass it in. So we would replace all of this with if is holding key without valid chest, TC. But I don't think I want this to happen no matter what. Still torn. I mean, this is just me prematurely optimizing something, right? So probably there's no real issue. Plus, I talked about O of N and O of M, but N is at most 6 and M is at most 4. So yeah, at most here we're doing 24 iterations. I still don't want to do that. Trying to be to play Tom Brader. Wow. I don't know if I've ever been to a Golden Corral, but in my hometown there used to be something that was probably like it. And I liked that place, and yeah, they always had like Thanksgiving style food year round. Is there even a Golden Corral in Washington? Let me see. Okay, there are some in Washington for sure, but I don't know about near me. Seattle, submit. No, it's very far away. So I'm in like this general area and it's way down there. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think your dream actually happened, Leftius. I'm sorry to break the news to you. But I hope you're doing well. So yeah, I think I'm convinced. I think this is the right thing to do here, and we just need to do this less frequently. And I have something that even does this at some point. There's like some timer that, yeah, here, timer. What is this? Find item to pick up. Wait time, one shot, add. And then remove the timer when we leave the, yeah, queue free instead of no. Kept trying to get pancakes, but they'd all get taken before we had a chance. Those pancake thieves. Truly a nightmare. Man, I'm so torn. I'm torn into inaction. All right, let me just write out my thoughts. I need to organize this. So I want workers to stop pursuing a key if there's no chest for it. This means they need to do it in transit. If they do it constantly, then they only need to do it in transit. But then we're wasting a bunch of time. And if we switch to a timer, it means also needing to do it when they reach the target. So we just add a bunch of code. It's not like it's hard to do. I throw in a timer, I refactor whatever this function is here to actually bail out of this and unreserve the source. And then I call it from both process and reach target. In fact, we could just make it happen on like there's like a 10% chance it happens. So just 1/10 of the time it's gonna run. It's just a really cheapo way of saving cycles. Hey Krasner, thank you. I should buy a bright green shirt, so I'm just chroma keyed out. Maybe reverse reservation, reserve an unreserved key when chest state is changing. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But a key can be put into many different chests. So even if the chest they were trying to target doesn't work anymore, it could go into a different one. So I guess the treasure room would be doing the reservation because it knows about all the chests. But still, I kind of want to have something working that's like good enough here. The thing is, we could also change it so it's only once they make it to the key. So like a worker might walk all the way over from here. They're otherwise doing nothing. They're walking through here. They make it to the key and they're like, oh, there's no chest. And then they just turn around and walk away. I think that would look weird. So yeah, I think I've convinced myself. I think we just do the thing with the timer. So fine. So pickup item is going to have like a, I'll call it bailout timer, but I'll do that only once we've coded the rest of this. So leave is here. We're going to paste this in. Anywhere else that we use timer, start timer. Okay, this just gets started when we're in enter, right? Wait time is going to be like 0.25. We add it on timeout. We say check for bailout. Then we start it. Yeah. All right, so what this is going to do is pretty much just this. And then we get the... We just shouldn't even pass this in. What's the point? Yeah. Oh, we need it. Okay, never mind. All right, so this will transition, which means that we need to have this return a Boolean. And then return true. Return false. All right, there we go. So if has item or not is held, or I guess we should change this to should bail out. No, it's like bail out if needed. And then we rename this to bailout timer. Hail Ghost. Floating arms are all the rage. Ghost, how are you doing? How are the last 5 months? So this returns a Boolean, which is gonna fail. Yeah, so we gotta do it this way. All right, how we looking? How we looking? Now we just gotta change this. No, we don't need to change anything there. Okay, I think that'll do it. So the way this works is if we're holding a key without a valid chest. So we get the item. We don't know for sure that this even exists. Yeah, so if it doesn't exist, then we just return. If it doesn't have an item, return false. Yeah. All right, so what's this do? It's holding key without chest. Does it have, do we have an item there? And then is the item a key and there's no chest that'll target it? And transition. This will happen just on a random timer call. If we transition, then we don't want state process to do anything else. I don't know if it's, well, I guess all it could do is transition to worker wander anyway. But I don't know if it's going to double transition. This is going to double transition though. Yuck. All right, so maybe we just had a flag. Private bool should bail out. And when you enter this state, we just set it to false. And then all the bailout if needed is going to do is it's going to set this to true. And then if it's true, so now this is a void. Now this is deleted. And then this is just, well, I guess we check the bailout. And then we do the same thing up here. Okay, so now I think we're in good shape. Let's take a look again. So we start this as being false. And I guess when we, well, it doesn't matter if we leave this here or not. Then we set a timer. Every quarter of a second, we're going to check this thing. And this is going to be like set bail out flag. Set bail out flag if needed. So we look at this. If you're holding a key without a valid chest. Oh, we shouldn't unreserve the source. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to go crazy. Good. Hope all's well with everybody. Have you heard of this vibe programming? Yeah, I've heard of it. I did it once with the metric server for this game. It was pretty interesting. Nice shot. I am doing well. How are you doing, Shot? Okay, this is a problem. Hey, Codex. Very inefficient but entertaining. Yeah, it's a good way to acronymize vibe. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess it's okay to unreserve the source here, but we probably shouldn't transition immediately now. Because no matter what, we're going to end up going back into worker wander. Yeah. Unreserve the source since there's no chance of us picking it up once should bailout is true. Okay. I think this is going to work. So let's just try it. And if it looks like all is well, then yeah, maybe all is well. I believe. All right, so we're going to generate a bunch of keys. We're going to speed this up a little bit so they're all just wandering around. And we're going to grant one chest. So they should all just walk up here and try to put the key into the chest. But I'm going to stop them, and they all walk away. Now I open these up. We speed this up again so they get rid of those items. And then we put another chest here. Now they should walk up to these and put them in. But once enough have been put in, no person on their way over should continue. Yeah, nice. Now this would be easier to tell if we just upped the key rarity. So let's get these out of the way. There. Now we open these, and we add a bunch of other workers in. And 2 new chests. It probably worked. I don't see any weird problems going on. I guess I could try picking up this key before someone makes it over there. Yeah, and it made someone turn around. Now the chest is open. We'll make one more chest. So someone's going to walk over here. Yep, you are. But not anymore. Now someone else will. It's probably them. No, them. Is anyone walking over to get this? Uh-oh. Wait, you are? Why did that take so long? I wonder what that worker was. Yeah, I'm just going to keep taking it from them. And now I'll stop and I'll bring it. Nice. Okay. That guy was walking with a key when there was no chest. Yeah, but it was probably because they picked it up already. All this is meant to do is stop them from picking up a key if there's no valid chest. But if they're already holding one, then they need to put it down somewhere. So yeah, I think everything's working okay. So if I put these in here, yeah, anyone who was walking to one won't have it. But now this person needs to put it down. Now go handle all those items. I'm going to make another chest. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, yeah, I don't see any problems. Any errors? No. How do you keep track of and remember everything in your code base as your project grows and grows? So I don't necessarily remember everything. And yeah, a project will eventually grow to a point where there might be months before you look at a system again. So I generally think it comes down to how do you find this information? So let's say we were trying to figure out like how does a key open a treasure chest? And I haven't used the code base in like 5 years. I'd probably search for key. And I'd probably search for it by doing something like this, where I search for just the word key all on its own. And then I'd start to look through some of these classes like, oh yeah, there were treasure chest displays. I remember that. And maybe I'd find like, oh right, there was an item category that was a key. And here's the key data. Okay, so let's go search for iron key and see what that does. And now by searching for iron key, we only have 8 results. So I'm like, okay, where do you turn in a key? And it's like, oh, right here. Here's the turn in key, apply key effect to chest. And through that, you'll start to be able to spread out and find more things. You can also use AI nowadays to say like, hey, where do we apply keys to chests? And go search through my code base and find it for me. And it'll probably do a decent job of finding it. That task, by the way, of like, find me this code is another example of something that you can have AI do, but it's verifiable. And there are a lot of tasks that fit in this category. It's like if I said, hey, what's the square root of whatever, 5? You might not know this off the top of your head, but once you get an answer, you can just square it. So I could do this times 2, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that turned out to be the square root of 5. Like, you don't have to trust AI completely. And I think it's great for those sorts of tasks. Just great. So you sometimes maybe often end up needing a refresher on your own stuff. Yeah. I think if you are working on a task where you've only been coding it for like 2 days and you're starting to forget what you coded, that's probably an issue. No, that wasn't on the fly. I just memorized it. And hey, bye, pup. Yeah, but yeah, as a code base grows, and I think this is, if you were to work on something like Chromium, let's say, Chromium is some number of millions of lines of code. It's a task for you to just be able to fix even a simple bug in Chromium as a first timer because there's just so much to look through. So yeah, there is like a skill of looking through enterprise level software. All right, so I guess I'm checking this in. Yeah. What is this called? Get acceptable key IDs for chess. Yeah. I feel like this is like a level of polish. Look at how much code had to change for this stuff. I just don't like it. We could just call this again. Yeah, we could just call find key for chest. And if this doesn't return anything. But this is checking in the warehouse and everything, not specifically that item display. But shouldn't we just have a function like can the key be used? I guess that's that. Let's see. I'm big on having it do refactors. Like, hey, I changed what this function signature looks like. Go change it everywhere else. Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's something you can verify when it's done. Although, I guess with that, you might not closely look through everything, and there might be like one mistake. Source code for the Office suite was just mind-blowing. Not even the efficiency, just the sheer volume. Yeah. Yeah, and this is another part of working with just teams of people. It's like, yeah, Skeleseller at this point, it's not like it's a super large team, but I've written a volume of code that I can't keep in my head anymore. So now imagine if there were 10 people working at the same volume for 2 years. It's like, well, if it was too hard for one person, it's going to be hard when there are 10 people doing it. So yeah, I think it's an important skill to have. And like I said, I'm not super happy about this. This can be set to true in some cases, and when it is, it means we should stop pursuing the item. I just don't like this. I just keep complaining about it though. But I guess I'm going to check this in anyway. What is this doing in 2 different places? Oh no, it's only in one place. Okay, fine. So polish worker behavior with keys. A worker walking toward a key will only pick it up if there's a valid chest for the key. It will perform this check as it's walking so that it can bail out early. I'm not super happy with the complexity this adds to the code. But I also didn't like the idea of a worker. What would be, if I want to solve this the right way, what would be the right way to solve this? I guess semaphores on item destination. So we would know that you can only put in like the order the keys matters. Now, this would be really, really hard to do, I think. Yeah, this would be really hard to do. All the way over to a key when you've already, when there's no chest that will accept it. There's no obvious best solution for this. Semaphores on treasure chests as destinations wouldn't necessarily work because of how skeleton keys operate. They immediately open the chest. Define roles, responsibilities, etc. to teams and collaborators. I think defining some roles is important. If we're talking about the code-based complexity stuff, I think part of it just comes down to you need some amount of knowledge sharing set up, and you need the individual workers to have the skill of looking through a large code base. And then good review processes, I guess, as well. So as an example, suppose you have a function like bool is even number, and it takes in an integer, and it just returns, yeah, exactly this. So this function is easy enough for someone to write. You might not even want to use a function for it. But in a large code base, this probably exists somewhere, or something like it exists. So you could think of less maybe trivial examples, something like is component loaded, or I don't know, any number of things like reading from the file system. Like these probably exist. How do you even find those in the code base? So you need to find another part of the product that uses this thing. And then you run into a different problem that's also very tough. By the way, Elgos, thanks for the bits, and Yo, thank you for the sub. Good to see you again, Yo. So there's an even bigger problem, which is what happens when not all workers know the product that well? And for small products, like a game, for example, it's not usually too bad. Yeah, you probably know the general features of the game. But yeah, for something like Chromium, do you know all the features of Chrome as a browser or Chromium as a browser? Like there's just a crazy surface area for this stuff. It's like the basic stuff, even like tabs and just kind of browsing. Even in browsing, there's like a CSS engine, there's a JavaScript engine, there's so many other things in there. Then there's other features you might have, like syncing things, syncing settings, or profiles, or incognito mode. Or you probably know about a lot of this stuff, but I wonder how many people know about every feature Chromium has. And if you don't even know the feature exists, you wouldn't necessarily know to look for it in the code base to be like, oh, how did they do this? Because I know they solved this problem. And that's where you come down to knowledge sharing and reviewing stuff. Like someone should look over this and know, oh yeah, we already did this before. All right, we're going to check this in. So this is done. The sign for the weapon grinder in story mode doesn't match where it gets built. I don't think this is true anymore. I think I fixed this. If I make a new game and I click this and I click up here, where the grinder gets built is very close to it. So yeah, I'm just going to say this is already fixed. When picking challenge mode difficulty level, allow for left and right clicking to increase or decrease the level. Does this even make sense anymore? When did I write this, and what did the UI look like when I wrote this? So I guess what I was thinking is you can left click this arrow to increase the level. So if I click this, it's going to go from scenario 2 to scenario 3. And I think I wanted you to be able to right click this to be able to go down a scenario level. I just don't think people are even going to try to do that. But I also don't like how this button moves. Maybe we should just fix that problem. I never considered such things, just trying to wrap my head around stuff like scalability. Well, that's kind of the nice thing about any realm where you slowly grow. And software is one of those realms where you grow over the course of many years. So when you're starting out, you're probably like, what is code? What is the logic for this? How do I fix, problem X? And then as you get better, it's probably more like, yeah, how do I work with other people's code? And how do I design this feature? And then you get even better than that, and it's now like, how do we have global impact or something like that? So at any given point, you've got your share of problems that you're looking at. And hopefully the next level doesn't look too complicated once you've gotten far enough. By the way, I think this is one of the sort of like kind of great and sometimes bad things about life in general. I look back at any number of years ago and I just think, man, I was an idiot. And I maybe naively assumed at some point in my life, oh, this will stop. At some point I'll learn all the stuff I'm going to learn. I'll just be able to use it. But that has not been the case. I've been still learning things, and I've still been looking back, and I've still been thinking, man, I had a lot to learn back then. And I think a more positive way of looking at this, a glass half full way of saying this is I've learned a lot since then, right? That's what being an idiot in the past was, that you didn't know something, you didn't act in a certain way, and like, oh, I've improved that. I've gotten better. So yeah, I would urge people, if you are feeling any sort of imposter syndrome, look back at yourself from 2 years ago and just think, could I have done then what I can do now? And almost always the answer is going to be no. And that should at least make you feel slightly better. This is all wrong. If we were trying to always implement new stuff, all programmers would have been out of a job decades ago. Just keep re-implementing stuff. The same survivors games for the next 2 decades. But yeah, to some extent, that's kind of true. But the needs always vary slightly. Aids, outticks. Place the buttons next to each other, more intuitive UX. Text length won't affect it. I don't know if it's more intuitive to put the right arrow button over here. But there are a bunch of ways we could address this. So right now we have is this, and then scenario, and then this. We could have put them in a different plane, which I think would probably look bad. But if you made them an up and a down arrow, then the text length wouldn't affect it. Another thing we could do is maybe not make them left. I guess if you put them next to each other. So what you're saying is definitely, it would work. We could put a button here. We could also make these like plus and minus buttons. And we could have a drop down. There's like a little menu here. Scenario 1, scenario 2. How are you typing arrows? With a Spanso? I have apostrophe as my general like leader character, and then I can type something like sun G, make sunglasses, and clown to make a clown emoji. I use this for symbols I can't type easily, or just words that are long like organization. I highly recommend looking into that too. So yeah, we could do this. We could put the buttons on the right side. I guess I can do that super easily, and we can just see what it looks like. Because to me, this looks a little bit weird. Oh, and also this wouldn't work. We'd have to put them at the beginning, because it's still going to move them. Yeah. My bad. Okay, let's change it. So both decrease and increase go here. And yeah, I wonder if instead of arrows, we make them minus and plus. What does chat think about this? I do think this looks a little bit strange. Definitely sends other things in code. Yeah. Sometimes I read my old text chats with people probably 10 years ago. I had some really questionable opinions. Yeah, I think it's part of growing as a human. I still struggle with this when it comes to embarrassing things that have happened. Like, I'll have something that happened to me that was embarrassing, whatever, 3 years ago. And I think, well, it was embarrassing, but I learned from it. In order to have been embarrassed, it means you must have recognized that something was bad about what you did. But it's still hard for me to grapple with. left and then scenario on the right. So if we do that, then the different scenario lengths will push the right button farther to the right or not as far to the right. And then you have to click here. And then the next one you have to click here. And then the next one you have to click way over here. So I want there to be some different way of you selecting the next one. The other thing we could do is just reserve all of the space. So instead of this, we could change it to this. And then the scenario text just gets centered. So now it's like, this would be short scenario. And this would be very long scenario. And they still fit in the same space. Too many good options. Yeah, I guess the other thing about a drop down. So a drop down, I guess the kind of weird thing is we'd have 20 different options in it, but you'd be able to go directly from 1 to 19. Whereas here you'd have to click a whole bunch of times. But I don't know what's best here. But I think having choose a scenario and then 2 arrow buttons here looks weird to me. We have a drop down somewhere else. I think it's in here. Yeah, like this. I don't know what this would look like if it needed to scroll. Like what if we had 400 options? Oh, this honestly doesn't look too great even without needing to scroll. It's a little unthemed. Yeah, I don't know. We need search function if there are 20 things. That'd be nuts for this game. The 2 arrows right there definitely look out of place. Yeah. Was this even the task I want to solve? I guess kinda. We should probably try a drop down. Okay, what does it take to get a drop down to work? Can I just add one in here? Drop down? What's it called? Menu? I don't even know. I guess it's a pop-up menu. Let's go look at the settings page because this already uses one. What is this? Window mode button. It's just a button. It's a menu button. Oh, menu button is what's called. Okay, let's go try that then. Menu button. All right, so put this here. Let me say testeroni. And then what do we do? Items, here we go. Add element. Okay, I want to add a whole bunch of these. So scenario 1. This is going to take a long time, apparently. Scenario 2. Let's save that and then go look at that scene and then see if we can just copy paste them. Oh, nice, good. Okay, so I want to do this for a whole bunch of times. 3, 4, 5. That's 5. 10, 15, 20. That's 20. Okay, now we got to rename them all, right? So instead of 0 each time, what do I want to do? Yeah, it's gonna be annoying. All right, fine, we'll just do it this way. I could try to be smarter about this, but I'm just gonna do it the slow way. $17, 18, 19. Okay, good. Now all their IDs need to increase. This should be easy because we already typed this out. They match exactly? Yeah, they match exactly. And then we put that in for the scenario number. Scenario this, let me just add 1. Oops. There, okay. I think that should work. So now let's go look at the scene, reload. It didn't actually reload that properly. Uh-oh. Well, let's try running it. You can also fix the label size and have the text scale to fit. Imagine this would work well if the strings are all at least similar in size. I don't generally like changing the font size of these things, but I know what you're talking about. What did I mess up here? It's so hard to read this because it's trying to put in theme stuff, and I don't know if I messed this up or not. Oh, item count equals 2. Item count equals 20. Is that all we needed to change? Oh, look at that. Okay. You need to keep track of the index as the ID. Yeah. I just want to see what this would look like at first. Because maybe it's smart, maybe it's not. I mean, I can't select any of these because I didn't actually code anything. I guess one of the problems with a dropdown is it would let you see levels you haven't gotten to yet, and then you wouldn't be able to select them. Not sure I like a dropdown. But let's at least take a picture of it so I don't need to do this again. And then shrink the picture. Not sure I like this. You can't even select a higher scenario until you've unlocked it. So the drop down would need dynamic entries. Not that that's hard. Yeah. You can dynamically change the list, yes. So I don't know about this. The other ideas that we had listed here. Let's just try this one really fast because it's so easy to do. We put this label in between the two buttons. Let's just hide this menu button for now. And then we make this whole thing into another HBox container. And we put all of them inside the HBox container and then say to expand this. And then we make this expand as well. So this probably looks kind of dumb, but let's go try it. I think it just shouldn't expand to fill the entire thing. But yeah, this does work. It's not moving the buttons now. So what we could do is just give this a minimum size. I think that'd probably look best. So instead of setting this to expand, turn that off and just set a minimum size over here of 400. Yeah, that might be better. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Okay, I think that's nice. Well, that's what we're going to go with then for now. Looks good to me. Thanks, Aristotle. Okay, so we got to get rid of all of this stuff. So that menu button, we can just go in and delete. Delete. Hey, Tyrion. Ship it. Let us ship it indeed. All right, so fix moving right arrow on new run screen. We always rendered scenario right. So if the scenario name changed, which it does, then the right arrow would shift. Now we set a minimum size on the scenario, or minimum width, I guess. Minimum width on the scenario label to be 400 pixels. So it should stop the movement, at least in English. So what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I got to test this when you don't have a save file. So let's delete the save file because there's a special piece of logic in here. And it might start looking strange now. I'm not actually sure. So when you don't have anything other than the tutorial unlocked, we do not show the left and right arrows. And yeah, you can see what this is doing now. So this still has a minimum size of 400, but since it's centered, it looks like there's just blank space here. So there are a couple things we could do. One is we could just stop setting the minimum size if you only have the first scenario. The other is we just left align it if you only have the first scenario. And I think just left aligning it should be fine. So we would click this and then how do we do this? Horizontal alignment. Yeah, we just set it to left. So let's go see if we can do that easily. New CS. Yeah, right here. So choose label dot alignment. I don't know what it's called. And now it's not auto completing for me. Hey, DJ. align horizontal. There it is. Left. Okay, but we got to do this. Wait, is this in a init? Oh, it's in a init. Then we don't need to do this every single time. All right, cool. Oh, wait, no, we're hiding that. We got to set this on the other thing. What's the other thing called? Difficulty level label. Difficulty level label. There we go. Align left so that the minimum sizing doesn't offset the whole label to the right. Hey, dig it. All right, so I think this should be perfect. These are tiny little quality of life things. And I was just telling my wife about this. I'm like, most people will not care that this was done if they've never seen the other way. They'd be like, yeah, you just put some text in the thing. It looks fine, right? But I did more than that. Okay, so I like how that looks. Scenario 1 getting started. There's an explanation. We click start. We go beat it. So I'm going to click this. And I go back to the title screen. And now we see this. So now it's like, oh, there's choose a scenario. Yeah, cool. That's what we're doing. Nice. All right, finished with that. If we haven't already, challenge mode needs to tell you that more customers enter the town every so often. Maybe this can be a tip at 5 or 10 minutes. More customers will naturally enter your town without special upgrade. I mean, I just did add in challenge mode tips. This one would be very, very simple to add in. And I do think we probably need to tell players. And the tutorial takes longer than 5 minutes anyway. Yeah, this should be simple enough. Those should be opposite. That's right. Wait, don't just blindly copy paste what left just gives you. There. So yeah, we add in a timed tip. And it shows here. Okay. Tip system. So we'll add in another tip about challenge mode customers. And we'll make a new timed tip. What do we set the time to be? Where are time tips? Here they are. 45 times 60. Okay, I want this to take maybe 5 minutes before it shows up. 5 times 60. And it just says in phone mode, customers, more customers will, excuse me, visit your town every so often without needing a special upgrade. I don't know what this text should say because this is garbage right now. And I don't even know how often this happens. Where is that? Customer. It's not in there. Town challenge mode functions. Customer bonus. Interval. What is it set to? Here. 60 times this. All right. Well, let's just code that in there. What is this? Cannot convert from float to long. This is a float. All right, I don't know. Math dot sealing it then. I don't care. There. Hey, sick. Mr. Adamant learns while live. Still debating on rebranding my entire channel. I just don't know what I'd call it. And any activity that I pick, what if I'm not doing that 3 years from now? What am I going to rebrand every 3 years? But I don't like Adam Learns Live very much. Adam stopped learning. Yeah, go back to the good old Adam 13531 days. I was debating on calling it Xtonomous because that's what the company is that's making these games. But even that's a little bit risky because it's like, what if I sell the company What if I no longer want to be sort of a representative of the company while I'm streaming? Or I want other people to stream under that name? Something with your name, then maybe add a number? Yeah, yeah. Adam period. Is that already an account on Twitch? Adam period. It is. And they have 16 followers. Wow. Maybe Adam exclamation mark. Oh, man. That guy is definitely Adam. You know it. So here's one way we could say this. I guess let's just start drafting some ways for this. We could just say a new customer has entered your town. You automatically get new customers every X minutes in Bone Mode. Okay, you know what? This last one I think is pretty good. In fact, maybe just this whole message. A new customer has entered your town. You automatically get new customers every X minutes in Bone Mode without needing a special upgrade. This is too verbose, but this is probably the best. And then X is going to be this. Hello? Okay. And what is this by default? 5? Yeah. A new customer has entered your town. You automatically get new customers. Maybe just this automatically happens. That's shorter. Yeah, that's decent. Let's try it out. So how do time tips work? Are they based on wall time? They are. Yeah. Okay, well then let's set it down to something lower than this. Let's set it to 15 seconds so that we're going to simulate what it looks like. But we are not going to wait 5 minutes. Because probably had fun with that one. Yes, I did. And there's the short explanation, but I can still show it to you in a sec. But first, let's see if this works. So we got to wait until it says 15 seconds up here. And possibly a little bit longer than that. But yeah, so we're playing the game. Imagine it's really been like 4.5 minutes. Now it's been 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Now a new customer enters the town. We would have noticed. Excuse me. But sometime in the next 10 seconds, we're going to see a tip pop up. So I'm just doing my own thing. Blah, blah, blah. Why isn't it popping up? Oh, right, because I'm in debug mode. Oh my God. I keep forgetting about that. We got to turn off the debug flag. Tips are disabled for developers because we don't need tips. We're expert gamers. All right, well, unfortunately, we got to wait another 15 seconds for this. Sorry. At least it's not 5 minutes, right? I should have made it like 5 seconds. All right, so it's been 15 seconds, and now at some point in the next 10, it's going to spawn. There it is. Okay, so a new customer has entered your town. This automatically happens every 5 minutes in Bone Mode without needing a special upgrade. Yeah, cool. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so for Sick, who has not seen Bone Mode, I will show you in just a second. Let me just change something else I modified. That, yeah, up here. Okay, so what Bone Mode is, it's a completely different mode after you've beaten story mode. So it's not like you just have them both unlocked by default. You have to beat story mode and then you unlock this. And they're going to be different scenarios. They don't really increase in difficulty until maybe you hit like scenario 10, but they start you with different things. So for example, in this scenario, it's the farming scenario. We start with a maxed out farm. So we already have all 25 plots unlocked. And if we were to plant stuff on here, we have every different kind of crop and they're going to be worth quite a lot and they're going to grow pretty quickly. So you start with all that stuff. Every decision you make in the game in Bone Mode is done semi-randomly. So if I want to build something new, I click build, but then I don't get a specific thing that I might have wanted. Like if I wanted the warehouse, too bad. I got the pond and the garbage slime. So it's like, okay, I'll go with the garbage slime. And then I want to level up something. So I get a town perk here and it's like, hey, I got something for the garbage slime, but I also got some things for the enchanter's den. So you could re-roll these. You can't re-roll the other kinds. And be like, oh yeah, cool. I actually wanted more slots in my armor shop. So now my armor shop has 4 slots. And then same thing for leveling up. You get a choice of 3 adventurers and you choose who you want to level up. And their stats are slightly different. They might get skills. So you'll pick based on what you think is best. And of course, same thing for hiring. You hire a random adventurer. And then, yeah, you play out this mode. You have a certain goal you have to hit. So in this case, it's 3,500 gold. Hey, Mars. And then when you win, you unlock perks that can show up in future runs. And you also unlock upgrade points. And the upgrade points turn this into a roguelike game where you can be like, oh, yeah, you know what? I want to start with more power. Or I want to start with more customers or more buildings or something like that. So yeah, this is still a very casual mode. You could play as slowly as you want to. You will still get all the same number of upgrade points. And you will eventually fully upgrade everything here. If you just run enough time. You can even just do the first scenario. It takes like 7 minutes and just pump up your upgrade points to maximum. How do I start with more bones? Get more skeletons. It's this button right here. So we've been working on this for a few months. And I've gotten feedback at different iterations. And it's been trending upward. It's been going pretty well. So now we're starting to polish everything. All right, so we added a tip. Add a tip about how to get customers. This spawns after 5 minutes in bone mode in the first scenario. Nice. Nice semantics of linguistic lesson. Well, this is also like a nice story fit. So yeah, Bone stands for business optimization via new expansions. And the idea is that like every scenario is only maybe like 20 real minutes. So the only way to make this make sense is like, okay, we're trying your town with this variation, now with this variation. And the optimization is you trying to get it to as low a time as you can. So I like it. It's fitting, it's cutesy. All right, so this is done now. Consider showing icons for town perks. We could reserve the upper left of the perk choice for the icon. Picture something like this. Yeah, so the icon spans 2 lines. How do we do this right now? I do want to test this out. So yeah, what I'm thinking, what is this called in typesetting? You know when you have something like a big T and you say like the start or whatever of the ... and then text is aligned like this around it. That has a name, but I don't remember what it is. It's not superscript. I'm doing a bad job explaining this. Let me look this up. Typesetting, large letters spanning multiple lines. Is AI gonna tell me? Drop cap. I think that's what it is. Drop cap letter. Yeah, this sort of thing. The SpongeBob yeah. Here I am. Yeah, so I wonder, I guess this isn't something special when I do it here. Oh, except for there's no way to know that I just wanted it to be for this section. Oh. Oh man. I'm just okay. So here's the issue. I want to throw in some icons here. So imagine we had a rectangular icon. We could try to put it off to the side here. I think putting it above might not be too bad, but then it's taking up more space. We could set it as like the background for this. I think that's probably a bad idea. It would make it illegible. And instead of choose, we could make the icon there maybe. Well, then maybe it's not clear that you're choosing that one. Huh. What does the rest of the dialogue say? It doesn't say anything. There's no text saying like pick one of these. And having the choose button makes it clear that you need to pick one of these. Although we could also make it that when you hover over this, it like puts an outline around the whole thing. It makes it clear you can click it. Well, let's try town perk choice. Town choice. That doesn't exist? Oh, is it because they're all just strings right now? Oh, God. It probably is. Yeah, it is. This is perk choice with adventure. Is that a scene? It is. Oh, okay. This probably shouldn't be too bad. Perk choice with adventure. So this inherits from perk choice. And what else inherits from perk choice? Yeah, pretty much just that chain. Well, adventure perk choice too. I should look at that one. Adventure perk choice UI. So this throws in an adventure. So we would need to throw in an icon. And then construct these properly and then set the right icon. I think setting the right icon should be pretty easy. But I think you'd want to be able to hover over it to see what it does. It almost makes me wonder. We don't have unique icons for everything yet, so we can't do this. But it almost makes me wonder if all we should show you is the icon and you have to hover over to see what they do. But I think seeing them all at a glance is much better. So yeah, let's try this out. Venture perk choice UI. So we make a new one of these in here. A special thing for update description. Should probably take a quick break before we do this. Yeah, I'll write where we left off here. Make a town perk choice UI that has the icon somewhere. Okay. Yeah, I'll be back in just a little bit. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Hi, everybody. And hey, Yuki. Yeah, perfect great timing. Oh, man. Hi, everyone. Bone Moth. Shika. Anyone else joining? Liquid Cake. Christopher. Yeah. Hi. How was the stream, Yuki? Yeah, welcome in. Close the game. Sorry, this is just a game that we play when I'm on my break. And honestly, I don't tend to take a lot of breaks, so I'm trying to be mindful about taking more. So I'm not just burning out or going for like 6 hours of streaming without doing something. And yeah, just bad timing, I guess. Yeah, welcome in. We are working on a game called Skeleseller, and I've been working on this for a year and a half now. And the specific thing that I want to do now is make it so that when you're picking town perks, we show the icons for these perks. So like Max Customers has an icon. And I want to show this when you're choosing the perk. Level up perk cost. Is that a thing that also has one of these? Battle perk cost? It does, yeah. Getting close to completing making a cheat sheet graphic for assembly instructions. Oh, nice. Yeah, it was still funny to me. I popped into your stream one time. I think I like rated you in the middle of the day for me, which for you was not quite nighttime. And you were just talking. Normally you're kind of like whisper talking. And it was just such a surprise to me. Because every time I raid, it's like, I don't know, midnight for you or something. And you're always like, I have to be quiet because there's someone in the room behind me trying to sleep. And I like that ambiance of the stream. I think it works well. I think you should whisper talk every stream. It's probably more annoying for you though. All right, it's a town perk choice UI that has this. So we want to inherit from here, perk choice, and we need to find perk choice. And you are right there in challenge mode. And what is above this? UI. Okay, so challenge mode UI. So we're gonna make a new scene. We're gonna instantiate that. Challenge mode and perk choice. There it is. I'm gonna save this as town perk choice UI. Right there. Throw might appreciate it too. Actually, yeah, I wonder. I've never tried whisper streaming for hours. I wonder if I'd feel any different afterward. But yeah, things are going pretty well. One of the things that, like, if we look at a general timeline of how this has gone, I started maybe about 3 months ago working on this thing called Bone Mode. It's basically a roguelite version of Skeleseller. And after maybe 1 month into that, we released the first iteration. And feedback was a bit rough, I would say. More specifically, it was actually called challenge mode back then, and there was a way to lose, and there was no meta progression. So I think those are the first two things we addressed. We're like, okay, people are getting a little bit frantic because you can lose this thing. You got to be pretty high APM to play the game, whereas the base game is pretty casual. And then that's it. If you lose, you didn't get anything. So we addressed both of those, and I don't know, maybe that took another month. And then like feedback improved, but it still wasn't great. There are a lot of things in this mode that are randomized, and the game was never intended to be randomized. So like, let's say you unlock the farm at first. That works pretty well. But let's say you unlock the... I need to actually unlock this thing. Let's say you unlock the treasure room. The treasure room was not really balanced for you getting this first. So now we finally addressed a lot of those issues, and now feedback's been trending up and up and up. And I think it's finally at the point where it's fun, so we're just tackling polished things. Yeah, the bone in bone mode stands for business optimization via new expansions. Whispering is actually worse for your voice. Huh. We need some like brain to speech interface that involves AI. You just like strap an electrode here. And then you don't have to talk ever again. So yeah, that's been the general trend of things. We've been working on this mode forever, and it's been getting better. And even little things here, like just this morning, there was always a way to pick new scenarios, but we didn't have this blank padding here. So every time you chose a different one, it would like bump this button. So when you tried clicking the right button a bunch of times, you wouldn't be able to. So little things like that. Here's the meta progression we have. We can unlock perks as you go. This is another thing people wanted, more meta progression. Thoughts would leak out even more than they already do. Yeah, you need to have some way to control it, I guess. Just want brain to text, can work on speech later. The to speech part though is already done. Like AI synthesizing voice has been a thing for a while. And it's pretty natural sounding. And I guess even getting it into your voice is now a thing. And isn't it even built into iPhone or something? Doesn't iOS have that? Why not brain to brain? Whoa, 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 slow down there. We're still working on brain to text. And brain to brain. Reminds me of a Black Mirror episode in the newest season. All right, what am I doing here? I'm trying to add in a graphic at the top of this. So I guess we put it in here. Add child node texture rectangle. And we'll call this something like icon. And then this uses perk choice. So I guess we're going to need adventure perk choice UI. I'm going to save this as town perk choice UI and rename this. And this is just going to be perk choice, which I believe is one of the UI ones. Yeah, it is. And then we go set that in here. Town perk choice UI. Drop that into there. And now we need a way of setting the icon. So let's go get private texture rect icon equals null. And then in ready, we're going to call the base ready and get the icon. Oh, no, it had it. Cool. And then we need to set it to something. That'll probably hold off on. Just get back into Black Mirror. Early episodes are so good. I really like the new season. I do feel there was a bit of fatigue for me watching some of the middle seasons, because I feel like that the show generally started for me as like a tech-based what if. And they take this idea and kind of run with it. Like, what if everyone in the world had social ratings that you could adjust on the fly, and what might happen in that scenario? It's like, okay, I think that's pretty cool. And then they started needing to change it a bit. So there'd be like a grim episode and like a hopeful episode. And then I felt there were more grim episodes than hopeful episodes. So anyway, I feel like the newest season is just great. I really liked it. But obviously TV is subjective. And you might try it and be like, oh, that was not worth it. I have my phone language set to English, but the AI set to Japanese, and it worked for months until they decided that you can't have the languages be different. If you had the AI set to Japanese, though, and you had that working for months, do you think maybe you'd be ready for the bump to just changing everything to Japanese? Or is that too far of a cry at this point? All right, so this is, I guess, pointless. So now we need to generate these things. Adventure perk choice UI. We do this in scene pads here. So I want this to be town perk choice. And then anywhere else we use that. Yeah, there's got to be a place we actually use the scene path. Yeah, here it is, create perk choice. All right, so town perk choice generator? No, what's it called? Town perk panel? Is there a create perk choice in here? There is not. But I believe the base class has one. It does. And then we need to use that. Let's copy paste this up to there. Yeah. All right, so there's going to be a town perk choice. We're just going to replace all this with town. Initialize it with... that's strange. Where is this init function? Perk choice with adventure UI has it. So I need to pass in what the... Well, what does the base class do? Let's start with that. We initialize it with a choice. What is in the choice? The choice in this case should have an ability ID. It has an ability, and the ability has an ID. So that's what we can use to get the icon that we need. So we get rid of that. Then we need to override this function. All right, the pieces are coming together. I have no idea what the looks of this are going to be yet. So let's not worry about that just yet. Last season's quite good. Yeah. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Problem with some of my apps, financial mainly, didn't have Japanese language text, so they display as broken characters. Oh, I see. Oh, that's unfortunate. I guess you can get a burner phone. Actually, I wonder if you just wanted something like that. Like, what's the cheapest Android phone for adults? I've actually seen that they sell phones for kids that run Android and they're like 30 bucks. That's really not that bad, but they're tiny and their battery sucks. I wonder if you wanted like a reasonable Android phone, not high specs or anything, what would it cost? And then I guess you'd run into problems of like, how do you use it as a phone and also have your main phone? Maybe eSIM solve that. I'm not actually sure. Thank you, Yuki. Thank you both for the raid and the well-wishing. I hope you have a good meal. And yeah, good rest of your night. And a good weekend, actually. I just realized it's Friday. Yeah, tonight's Slay the Spire night. I'm having some friends over to play a board game. Other problem is I set my iPad to watch. Oh, and watch to Japanese. But now language syncs. Oh, man, really? I guess it makes sense that your language would sync. Yeah. If you don't want to have cell service, buy a pay-as-you-go phone and never fill it. But are they like good Android phones? I hate Cromlock. Must be nice to have friends. Oh. Hey, Jock, could an Android emulator suffice for your financial needs, maybe? Oh, yeah, that's another point. Yeah. Or an emulator for, I guess, all the other stuff you might do. Or just go light a fire under your bank to serve all their Japanese customers. That'll work great. All right, so I want to override this initialization to do something slightly different. Town per choice UI. Yeah. I want to do override init. There is no overriding init? How did I? Oh, because I had two different init functions. Okay, so this needs to be virtual now. Although there's an update description, I guess that could do it. Although update description does not need to update based on, I wouldn't need to update the icon, so that can happen in init. So now this can override init. If I could type. Oh, come on. There. All right, we still want to call into the base, but now we want to set the icon to something. Icon.texture equals, this should have an ability, right? Yep, ID. Oh, wait, there's an icon right there. Wait, is there? No, but that's okay. I think this is easy enough to go find. I just got to figure it out. Let's look at something like, well, let's look at player ability. Maybe like faster crop growth. What's it called? Crop growth speed? Crop growth speed. So we get data from here. That has the icon ID. Then something takes that ID and uses it to form a texture. And where might that happen? I don't see it at all. Maybe it's used in base ability. Icon ID. It's not. I guess we just get the data. So from here. I don't know where we do. Oh, here it is. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So we do this. Icon ID equals that, and that. Good. Whew, okay, let's try it. This was, I mean, it wasn't a ton of work. And it's going to just show at the top of all of this now, and I did nothing to try to make it look good. I just want to see, could I even get this to work? So let's start the scenario. Let's also save, so I don't need to do that again. Save. All right, yeah, it looks like garbage. But it did pull in the right icons, which is nice. These two are duplicated just because I didn't get the new icons yet. So we could shrink this so that it just looks like a slightly nicer button, I guess. There still is a problem with this though, which is that any amount of extra space that we use here is going to cause us to scroll. I guess we have maybe that much for these specific ones. Let's try shrinking it to maybe 64 pixels. So set the size to 64 by 64. And then stretch will say keep aspect. Maybe, I don't know what the difference between centered and covered and everything here. I guess let's just put in a texture and find out. So let's go get the crop something or other. Yeah, there. Cool. Okay, so what if I do keep aspect centered? Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Probably matters more once this set via code is much larger. So if I just type a bunch of spaces here, the thing I'm worried about is saving this. So I gotta be careful about that. Oh, that's not gonna do anything, is it? Can I shrink this? No. Whoa, because it's set to keep size. Fit proportional. Fit width. What is this doing? Keep cover centered. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. Yeah, keep aspect centered. And then I don't know what you set this one to. Fit width, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, all right, let's delete this stuff now because I don't want to save that. But I do want to go back into that Tom per choice UI, and I want to set this back to fit width and keep. All right, I forgot what it was. I think it was keep centered though. Yeah, now let's go test that. And now we can load from our save file. I'm going to turn off all those polygons. There. They won't take place yet, but we'll just ignore them for now. Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking here. It's very distracting with those in the background. Let's try this one more time. I could also just not do banking on my phone. Probably a safe call. Is that a pun because we're talking about phones? Safe call, banking, secure software. Am I reaching? I think the icons are a little bit tiny because most of the time they're going to show up at this size, which I guess is double. Is that right? They're 128 by 128. Does that just automatically fix itself? Yeah, it does. Oh, but now there's scrolling. I don't want there to be scrolling. Alternatively, we put these down at the choose button, and that way the scrolling would be to pick the thing, which you could do by just clicking any part of this maybe. So we put this down here. I don't like any of this. There's another thing we could do. This might look really stupid. How would I do this? I put a control at the top here and then the icon under that. And now it'll stack on top of it. It just disappeared. Maybe I need to... No, something's not working. I wanted this to show beneath the description in the title. Yeah, okay. Well, this is what I wanted to have happen, and it's obvious that it looks terrible. We could fade it out of it. I'm probably not doing any favors to myself here. All right, how's that look? Stupid, I'm guessing? Yeah, stupid. Okay, so definitely don't put it behind this. I'll take a picture anyway. I had my Abby picture here. So, yeah, let's just take pictures of all the different things we could do. The other one was with this on top. Not faded out, though. So like this. I mean, in this case, we don't need a lot of scrolling. Then the other one was with this on bottom, and we could have it instead of the choose button. We could do something like that. I don't like it. I think it looks bad. Then the other thing that I had as an idea was it's on top, but it's smaller. It's not bad, I think. Hang on one second. Yeah. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry for the abruptness there. I had a thing on my to-do list. No, I did not. It's a need answer door for a package. And it turns out I did not need to answer the door for that package. I thought we had to pay cash on delivery or something, but they did not even ask me for cash. Okay, so the last thing that we had was this small icon here. Not bad. The only other thing I could think of is that we push just the title to the side, maybe. That would be very hard to do because I need to embed the icon into the description somewhere. We could also just not have icons here. Or I could put it next to the choose button, maybe? How would we do that? We couldn't do it like this, but I need to add an HBox container to the root class, and then I could do it. So we do HBox container, put the choose button in there, put this over here, move that down, have this expand to fill the whole thing. And then over here, we would be able to put the icon next to it. It'll probably look bad. Does it work? Something messed up. I probably need to restart this. I just want to find a way that makes this look good enough. It's not terrible. It looks a little out of place. I might as well take a picture of this too, as long as I'm taking pictures of stuff. Because yeah, we have a bunch of different ways of doing this. This was terrible. I don't like this at all. This is just a large icon at the top. It looks kind of out of place. At the bottom, without the choose button, it looks out of place. At the top is a small icon. It's okay, I think. Small icon alongside the choose button is decent. We could also put the icon below it. Isn't really going to change too much. I don't have any other ideas. Yeah. I don't really have any other ideas. Because there's only so small you can make this before it loses all meaning. It's like if I set this to 32 by 32. Oh, that's actually not too bad, right? Okay, let me try something else here. This is going to be really annoying. We've got to fill this in. Let me just save this for now. Got to fill this in with one of these sorts of things. So let's have it print out what an ability tooltip is. Where do we even do this? Town choice, update description. Update description is done through here though, right? Yeah, here it is. Choice.get description. Okay, so town perk choice has a get description. Yep, there it is. All right, so we print this out. gd.print tooltip. Then we copy one of them. And then we plug it into the editor and I try embedding an image alongside the title. It's going to be obnoxious. And I don't think this is going to work either. Because the problem is that any given canvas item in Godot can only have one texture filter. So what I would want to do here is have the text have a certain filter and then have the icon have a different one. And you can't do that. But anyway, now this would have printed out. So let's just go take any one of these. Cloning, sure, fine. Where's cloning? Here. So we copy all of this. And I put this into here in the description. And then we expand the whole thing. And then what I want to do is I want to put an image inside of here to the right of the title. Godot BB code image path. All right, the path is going to be res assets icons ability icons cloning.svg. Yeah, it just looks bad. And if we change the texture filter, then the text is going to look bad. So if I set this to nearest, wait, what? It's changing this, isn't it? Yeah, it's changing this. So the text needs to be on linear, or else it looks aliased. But the icon needs to be on nearest. Wonder how obvious it would be in practice. We can set the size of it. Image equals width and height, v-align options. What are the options? Color, height, width, region, pad, tooltip. Yeah, nothing great there, I guess. So image width is going to be 5. Do you say equals 5? Yeah, equals 5. And I want to do width and height. How do we do both width and height? With x height. Okay, so 32x 32. I mean, I also want some spaces in there or something, but that's easy enough to do. All right, so let's just try adding this into the ability description. Where does it even happen? Player ability. These are never going to get used. I guess I'll throw it into the individual ones. Cloning could have it. No, it won't do that though. It's going to do form skill table. Where does the title go? Title goes in base ability. Yeah, here it is. Get ability name. So I'd put this here. I think it'll look like trash. So now what? This is going to be wrong? Because we have an icon there? And because I hard-coded an ability text? Yeah. Yeah, it looks shoddy. Like the line weights are wrong. And if we did this until we saw cloning show up for real, which might take a long time. Because I want to show what it looks like when it's supposed to be, when it's with the right filter versus the wrong filter. I'm waiting for cloning to show up. Just trying to see when we find the skull there. It's going to probably take a while. There it is. Yeah. So here's the difference. This one is still crisp. This one, you can see the fuzziness, the artifacts around it. If we chop this out, I can compare them side by side. Well, I mean, I already know something's wrong, so this is kind of pointless. There. I think this way is pretty decent. Just throwing them next to the choose button. It just still doesn't look great. There's actually another idea that I thought of that I didn't try, which is this. We put the icon there twice. I think this would also look stupid, but I'm going to try it anyway. So icon 2, and icon 2. Oh, and then delete it from what, base ability or player ability or something, the image thing that we added in. Yeah. So now we'll have 6 icons in this thing. As mentioned, I'm like 90% sure it's gonna look dumb. But maybe we look at it and we're surprised and we're like, yep, that's great. I think it's dumb. Although it's not as dumb as I thought. Yeah, I think my favorite one, if I were to just pick one of these, is probably this one, where the icon shows to the right of the choose button. Could it be part of the choose button? I guess there are icons in here. But we run into the same issue we ran into with the different filters. Right, so like I'm going to quick load in, let's say, yeah, crops. And this is going to be fuzzy until I change the texture to be nearest. Yeah. It's too bad you can't set that. What if I do that? It'd probably look bad. Codex was saying that having these icons would help them choose perks. Yeah, it's way too tiny. We can't do that. And it's also just, again, kind of shoddy. Like, one of the details are completely muddied here. All right, well, I've tried pretty much everything I can think of at this point. And I think the thing that I'm happiest with is oh, I should take a picture of the, yeah, before I delete that completely, I should take a picture of it with the icons on both sides. Just so we have all the different comparisons in one spot. Yeah, put this over here. Let's go back to this one. Maybe we just throw that in the game. Is that dumb? Where's town perk choice UI? Delete all the icon 2 stuff. I don't think it's clear that it's just an icon. We could make it so you could hover over it to see the exact same details that are showing just above it. I think that would be confusing too, though, because you'd be like, why is there an icon to tell me the exact same detail? Yeah, I don't have any other ideas. And I'm not sold on any of these things. Where was the one where it was above this? Because there's one other thing I didn't try, which is making them even tinier and putting it above this. So basically that size. It's not going to auto adjust, will it? Oh yeah, well, there we go. Yeah, I could take a picture of this. This doesn't look good. I like the icons next to the buttons. We could keep it there and just see what people say when they're playing the game. So we'd put that there if it's next to the button. Are these seriously the same size? How is that possible? I put this up here. No, it's getting smaller, isn't it? What is this? This is 37 by 34. And if I put it here, it is, that's got to be bigger. Yeah, it's bigger. But it's not quite double the size. It's just because it's in the HBox container and that's setting the size based on the choose button. So maybe if I put it up here and just set its size to 50 by 50 or something. Just looks out of place. Yeah, all right. Well, next to the button it is, I suppose. And set this to a minimum of 32 by 32. Although, won't that make it so that when I shrink the game scale, this looks bad? No, it's fine. Do you want just the icon itself, the SVG? Or want it to also be hoverable? I don't think it needs to be hoverable, but making it hoverable shouldn't be very hard, I think. But I'm just visually looking at this. If all you saw was just this screen, would you be like, yeah, that looks good? Because these still look a little bit out of place to me. I'm not sold. And I don't know what else we could do. There's one thing I kind of want to try, which would be stupid, but it'd be repeating this pattern over here. So you'd have like 4 of these tiled. If you only strip out the brown background detailing, maybe it'll fit better as a faded icon behind the text, like 30% alpha. I don't know. I tried when it was everything behind this and faded out. And I think if it were just the icon itself faded out, it wouldn't be like super recognizable. It kind of reminds me of Hearthstone cards. Hearthstone cards have an icon on them with the set that they came from. So here you can see a little relief of a candle behind it. And for one, you need to know, what is this candle? What does that mean? And nothing on the card tells you. At least not when you're playing the game. It's the set that the card came from, by the way. But 2, it's a little bit hard to see anyway. It's like, it's easier to see on this card, but now on this card where it's rotated a bit and it's in the background and it's smaller, it's harder to see. And if you click another one of these, yeah, like this, it's hard to see that icon there. Above the title myself, is there a reason? Oh, yeah, is there a reason there's so much white space under the buttons? Could that be used somehow? Well, it all depends on which perks you're seeing. So here there's a lot of white space beneath them. But if we pick enough of these, you'll eventually see one that, yeah, now there's like no white space because this is just such a large description. And I think it's necessary to show you all of this information so you can make a decision. Got rid of the icon in here, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the above way that we had it, we have it large here, and we have it a little bit smaller here. So Codex, this is kind of what you were thinking? Because it still just looks out of place to me. I don't know what it is. I guess we could left align them. If I put this here again. So now they're a little bit too tiny. We can make them larger than that. Color coded to quickly identify what feature they enhance. I think the color coding part would be a little bit difficult. Maybe each selection needs a border to be more card-like. Yeah, I think a border might help. I do think if there were a border around this whole thing, I'm not certain I'd like the look any better. How do I make this not... Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now it's left aligned. That's probably better than centering in. Oh, I almost wonder if we put the icon between these two things. So it was like title, icon, and then description. Could we easily add a border to this? Is this a panel container? It is, yeah, then we can easily add a border. So I can actually just add a panel style box flat and then put a border width on here or something. I mean, if I just hit the play button again. Okay, there we go. So now we get rid of the background color and then put a border on it. Let's make it a dark border width of like 1111. Maybe put some radii on this. And then change the color so it's a little bit faded out like that. And then we need there to be more space above this, which I'm not going to worry about for right now. Is that better? Oh, what is going on here? Interesting. Oh. Oh, I guess we could use the shadow if we made this have a white background. Yeah, so now the shadow is just off to the side. Interesting. I mean, I think this looks a little bit dumb. I'm just messing things up. A little bit lighter and a little bit smaller. I mean, as far as icons go, I don't think this helps. I think having a border and separating these is probably a good idea, but yeah. How would it look if you somehow made the icon the select button? Probably wouldn't be intuitive. Yeah, that's what I was worried about because I took a picture of that too, where we had just the icon on the bottom. Granted, they were very large, but I could kind of get this to work by moving this back down here and then turning this off. And that's what we end up with. Oh, Cromlock, thanks for subbing. Welcome in. I appreciate it. Yeah, so it'd be something like this, and these would be the choose buttons. Yeah, it doesn't scream click me. I agree, but then again, I also think that you could make the whole card get highlighted. Like I hover over this, and this is the choose button, this whole thing. And I think that's how it should probably work anyway. And that if the choose button is there, it's there as just another indicator that you're supposed to click them. But otherwise, you could click even up here, for example, and it would be fine. And I think that once we have, like maybe I'll style these a little bit better, although then we need to do this for probably all of them. Turn them all into like little cards. But that shouldn't be too bad to do. But yeah, I don't really like them down there. So I guess we go back up to the top. Turn this back on. And I don't like that. So yeah, I still think the best one that I like is exactly this. And I don't like it that much. Hi, Terror. So we just don't include the icons, I guess? There is one other thing we could do here, which is actually very easy to show. We do this. And then make this much larger. 128 by 128. Whoops. Oh my god, double typed it twice. Oh, 3 times. I really got to clean this keyboard. Yeah, so this is the other way we could do this. And when you hover over this, it tells you what it does. And this would be, I think, very obvious. In fact, we don't even need the choose button if we do that. And we don't need borders. So we could just turn this off and turn this off. And that's it. And then maybe we just show the title above it. Yeah, title above it. The problem is I don't have the title. So I need to do something like this, and then the description just wouldn't contain this. I can kind of hack this together quickly. Tooltip. How about we just return ability.displayName and then bb code functions.format title. Okay, so something like that. Yeah, let's go test that. I don't think I like it because you're going to have to hover over these now to see what they all do. And there are going to be a lot of them. And I mean, I didn't make the hovering over work. And we'd probably want to put a level in here. And we also probably want to center that. Maybe that does it. Does that do it? Well, it deletes it. I don't like that. So the only thing I don't like about this is the having to hover over it to see what it does. We could throw in the description beneath it. Maybe that'd be better. The only extra context be hover info, like level specific details. Now I think seeing the level specific details is good too. I think maybe we just change it so that it's title, icon, and then description. What we used to have is just no icon. So we added an icon, but we make it a special component so that you can render this with the right filter. Why is this title different though? Where is that? Get ability name for tooltip. Format title. What? How is it not really smaller? Am I hallucinating? Is this the same size as this? Oh, I think it is. Wow, it just didn't look like it. Yeah, the text is the same size. It should be the same size. I guess it just looks smaller when you don't have when you don't have smaller text to compare it to. Yeah, and then these icons would shrink a bit. So we'd make this 64 by 64. And then we would add in, well, I don't know if that looks good though either. Try having it placed in line with the title on the left side. No, that originally wasn't possible because we had both the title and the description and they were all one, but now we could try it, I guess. Maybe make a custom thing for this entirely. So icon, then we add in title. Now let's just duplicate this. Title is just going to be something like cloning. Cool. Get the icon, then get the description. Description is going to look like that. The icon is going to look like something like this. I want this to have the same theme as everything else. And it kind of works. Yeah, I know it's a little bit hard to read because of the background. And probably this title needs to be vertically centered. That might look better. Yeah, it probably would. And that is kind of what I originally wanted to go with, was a drop cap sort of thing. Just the problem was that this and this was one element. So you either pushed everything to the right or nothing to the right. But yeah, now we can push it, like we can just push the title if we wanted to. I think that'd be good. Then there's a little nitpick thing of which order should this go in, title and icon or icon then title. But if we mock this up, we can just try them both and see what they'll look like. If I were to run this in the game right now, what happens? It probably It's going to override the description with the title again. So we'll just see the title twice. Yeah. So I need to change. I need to change something. Acorn flakes. Icon then title. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Avoid the icon shifting. Yeah. All right. So town perk choice. We have get the tooltip. The tooltip is going to be sans title for now. So we're going to delete this here. Okay, so I think this is as close as we can get to a mock-up without like actually changing the code here. So they're all going to say cloning as the title, I think. Maybe we can change that too pretty easily. Yeah, we should be able to. That's strange. What happened here? Oh, what happened here indeed? Oh, man. And where'd the choose buttons go? Whoops. Well, I broke something. Yeah, I broke something. So town perk choice UI, we need town perk choice UI. And I need to get the title. Rich text label, title label. Should just know how to fix those. Good. And then when we initialize this, we set the text equal to the ability name. I'm just going to say display name, and we're going to BB code format this. Format title. Okay. Let's try that. There's still some weird layout issue I got to figure out. Let's try this. Did I just break everything? I did break everything. Title label relative to blah, blah, blah not found because it's called title and not title label. Tisk, tisk. I think we'll still have the weird layout issue. Yeah. And this is this centered? Is this right aligned? I don't know what's going on there. I think we need to, I want it to expand. I just don't want it to be in the center. So yeah, I guess this is set to expand. And then horizontal is at the left already. What? What indeed? Huh. I don't know how I messed this up that badly. Maybe because I set a theme on that? I don't think that's the case. No, it's not. What did I do wrong here? I added in this HBox container so I could put these two things together. And this is set to expand. This, I guess, can also be set to expand. Except for we want to left align it if we're going to do that. It's already set to left align. What? There. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, good. Then description is here. I must have had something different about description before this. Like, I don't know why these are taking up different amounts of space inside the perk choices. Perk choice. Perk. Where do we render these? Town perk choice panel? Town perk panel? There it is. Choose perks. Choose perks panel tab. Choose perks panel tab. Choices are right there. It is a flow container set to horizontal. Yeah. So then we just start adding things in here. So then this is going to get positioned like everything else. I'm not sure what's wrong. Oh, maybe because I changed the description and not have word. Oh, yeah. Whoops. Okay. Okay. Easy peasy. My bad. There we go. Except for this is taking up more space than the other ones now. Possibly because of the title of this. Probably because of the title of that. So maybe we need this to word wrap as well. Would that fix this? I think it did. Right? These are all the same size? I guess we can just measure it and find out. This is 294-ish. I'm not going to perfectly do it because as long as these are within like 2 pixels of my imperfect thing. Yeah, 294 and 294. Yeah. Yeah, they're the same. How's that look? I think that's pretty good, actually. Wow. Okay. Well, that that somehow went vertically. I don't know how that happened. If I re-roll, is it always vertical now? No, not always. Some of them fit, some of them don't fit. I think I messed up. Oh, because I didn't save this. I know why. That's why. No, vertical looks bad for sure there. You don't want to have to scroll this to see the details. Yeah, the reason that happened is because I went in and manually changed word wrap, and then when I clicked re-roll or chose a perk, it didn't have my manual override. So now no matter what, it should always be horizontal. Nope, that doesn't work. Oh no, I have shift held on my keyboard, I think. Except for now I can't click that. Oh no, it crashed. Well, that's too bad. Why did that happen? It was very bizarre. I just clicked re-roll, right? Oh, it crashes every time. Huh. That's strange. And it doesn't print anything, it just crashes? Huh. Very strange. Okay, let's try running it from here. I didn't really change enough code for that to seemingly be possible. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely crashing. Okay. So what, is it printing out a whole bunch of stuff? It's not really. It's just printing out the skills that showed up. All right, well, let's go look at the... Actually, let's just look at the code changes I made. Could anything possibly have messed this up? Get ability description. Like, I'm thinking maybe there's an infinite loop somewhere. Shouldn't be a problem with printing the tooltip. Create perk choice. Add child, initialize. This calls in the base. The base has an update description. Shouldn't we do this only after? I guess it doesn't matter. Where is this getting stuck? All right, well, then let's just put a breakpoint on re-roll. It calls update from perk choices and generate choices. Okay, so is it making it past here? Because we can just find which line it's infinitely looping on. What's the theme? Hey, Nick. It is that Atom 1 Dark. So I click this, it breaks in. I click this, does it ever make it past it? It does. Does it make it past this? It does. Huh, that's strange. So that's not happening from the button, it's happening from something else. Where does it think it's stuck right now? None of these are going to show me anything. Yeah, I don't know how I could have broken this. Okay, well, does the same thing happen when I choose a perk? I would guess that it does. Like, there's probably nothing special about re-rolling here. No, what? It is just when you re-roll? And that crashes it. What? Okay, well, does it print something out over here? It probably doesn't. Out of memory. Okay, well, that implies that we're stuck in an infinite loop. I just don't... I don't know what code would be doing that. Please end. Please end program. There we go. All right, let's take a look again. What could be doing this? It can't be any of the UI changes. Get tooltip is calling get ability description tooltip, which it already was calling. So this can't be causing an infinite loop. It's doing a subset of what it used to. Then we print a tooltip. Again, I don't think that can ever cause a problem. So it must be something like this. What's going on here? Great, perk choice is overridden. We instantiate a scene. We add a child. We call init. We'll eventually get to init over here. Here it is. Well, here's ready. Call the base ready. That shouldn't be a problem. Then we call init here, which calls the base init. Base init is update description. Are we forever stuck updating the description? Choice I get description time perk choice. I don't know what's going on. That's not a palindrome. Yeah, I don't see what could be causing this. I'll delete the print. I don't know how a print could possibly cause what's happening here. I'll look through it one more time. We don't call in a... Thanks, Ghost. Thanks for the bits. You know, it used to flash my lights the color of the bits that were cheered, so in that case it would have been purple. But I don't have any color changing lights on right now. It's all just studio lights. Top 10 best bone palindromes has failed me. I wonder how good AI is at generating palindromes. If you said, hey, here's a description of Skeleseller, make a palindrome about it, would it be able to? It's very bad. Hey, what you just typed there is a palindrome. It's very bad backwards is it's very bad. Hey, Bernardo, make the card like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Title, subtitle, image, description. There's no subtitle though, so it is pretty much what you said. It's title, then image, then description. Or I guess maybe you could consider the subtitle to be like what building it requires, which we could split out if we need to. What's weird here is there's a choose thing showing up there. What is that doing? I think this is because I have other tabs open. Yeah, it is because I have other tabs open. All right, I still don't know. No spine in poison. Yeah, too bad. And it's only when re-rolling. So re-rolling does something special. Oh wait, oh sorry, never mind. We don't have the yeah. Sorry, I tried with the icon in between. Didn't I? Did I? I guess we never did. Huh. No, maybe we never did. Sorry, Bernardo. I forgot. I forgot what we currently had when I responded to you. Oh, I do like how this is showing up. I just need to figure out why this is breaking everything. Button press. Reroll perks. Update from perk choices. Add perk choice. We try freeing this. Whoops. I wonder if it has to do with how I'm making textures. I'd be kind of surprised if that were the case too. Like, what if we just got rid of this stuff? Display name. Is something going wrong here? I don't know. Sell items, sire, trade loot, old art. Sells items, ire, trad, lot. I mean, it almost works. I know it kind of just screws up at the end there. It just filled the letters, yeah. All right, well, what is the ability here? It's a base, no, it's a player ability. Player ability. Then I want to replace these things. Why is it filling in with that? Oh, because the selection's down there. Just like randomly put in the middle. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm kind of surprised it's not finding where this is being called for me. Also, I'm very hungry. What time is it? It's not even noon. I think I just ate early yesterday. Now my body's like, give me food. Give me food. Oh, that fixed it. Wow, it really is something to do with setting the texture? Is it setting the title label that's doing this? Very bizarre. Maybe it's freeing the texture that's causing this problem to happen. No, it's literally just setting the title. Are you kidding me? How in the world could this line of code cause this problem? I don't understand. The title label only exists here. It's not saying it doesn't exist or anything. And then format title just throws it inside of a couple of B tags. Yeah, what? This line of code is messing everything up. What's the display name? Get it from ability data? Yeah, this is just coded in there. And format title is just return it with font size tags around it. All right, let's put a breakpoint there and find out how could this possibly be failing. That's not a palindrome. At least it got stressed. So is this failing? What does this do? I can't imagine this is a problem. Yeah, this you can run as many times as you want, but apparently when we call the whole thing, it causes a problem. No, wait, it doesn't cause a problem here. It causes a problem when you re-roll. Maybe because we freed something. So let's take a look at this stuff. Auto casting. And just set the text. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if the third one actually happened. But now I'm guessing it's just stuck. Yeah, it's stuck. I gotta stop this. I'm baffled. Okay, let's try something else. As long as I'm just debugging this. Let's just type this in as something hard-coded. So if this still causes an infinite loop, then it means it was the format title function. But I think it's the act of setting text that's causing it to fail. No, what? It isn't? All right, I'm very perplexed. All right, so then let's try the next step here. Let's replace this with high. And getting a display name could cause a problem. There's probably some like weird quirk here that I just haven't considered. Yeah, that's fine too. So this is problematic. It's just trying to access this from the ability data. And ability data has to be passed in. It can't be null. So maybe there's an ability with no display name. I don't think that's possible. No, it's not possible. It's not nullable. Okay, let's print it out, I guess. This is about to reveal something to me. And I'm guessing it's either going to print like 400 times or it's going to show some garbled text or something. I don't know how it could do. No, it printed everything just fine. And then it freezes. But the freeze only happens if I actually call this line. If I don't call it at all, it never freezes. Well, I don't know what's happening. Maybe what the problem is some like layout engine screwing up. Like it's infinitely trying to lay out the new title for some reason. But when it re-rolls, it should free all of the current choices. Does it not? Update from perk choices. Yeah, free children. And then just add new ones. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what could possibly be going wrong here. Well, in my experience, this almost always means to take a break. So I should probably go get lunch. Let me write down where we left off. I hit a crash when you re-roll perks. Commenting out the line. Where is that line that I can comment out to get this to work? Commenting out this line fixes it. I don't know how that would fix things. Even just changing ability.displayName to high fixes things. It sounds like it's a red herring. Sounds like a red herring. I think it's a layout issue. So wait a sec then. Can't I just set this to something very long? Is that coincidentally what's happening? Like if I set this to expanded weapon shop, we're going to see a problem? Because that would be quite intriguing. But maybe it's only when it goes from shorter to longer, and by setting it to the same thing every time, it'll never happen. Okay, let me try this really fast. Ah, that is a problem. Wow. What? Okay, so it's probably a layout thing. And if I set it to expanded weapon, it's probably gonna be fine. If that's the case, then yes, this is just a layout problem. Although I'm not certain how the containers couldn't lay this out. I wonder if we can crash Godot by typing that. It's waiting for the build task. I think I need to restart VS Code. Oh man, come on. Can I abort that? I can't abort the right thing. All right, let's just try it again. Quit that. Whoops, that is not what I meant to do. No, 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 I don't trust the authors. I don't care. A crazy issue. Also, this task is taking a long time for just being the presentation of the UI. But I had these polish tasks written down and I want to go through them normally. So that's what we're doing. So now is everything fine? No, it's not. Huh. So expanded weapon doesn't work. What about just expanded? Because at this point, it's not a longer string, right? Yeah, now it's working. So expanded weapon breaks it. Expanded doesn't. There is one other explanation for this, which is that it's randomly generating a perk that is incompatible with something here. I don't know how that would have happened. Yeah, and it's just a pure coincidence. Although in that case, then if I delete this again, then we would expect some of this time for it to not work. But I'm guessing it's going to work just fine. And I can even click reroll multiple times, which I guess is the real test. Yeah, it works totally fine. I think it's a layout issue. Setting the string to expanded weapon will break it, but just expanded won't break it. But how could I have screwed this up? I said I'd take a break. I do want to look at this one more time and let my brain operate on this while I'm eating. The only thing I could think is that I broke the scene inheritance somehow. I don't know how that would happen. I don't know. Yeah, let's hold off on this until later. Okay, I'll go take my lunch break. I'll be back in about an hour, I think. And I'll stream again for another maybe like 2-3 hours. I don't know. We'll just get through what we can get through here. We're actually doing pretty well in terms of number of things remaining. Yeah. All right, well, thank you all for watching. If you'd like to try the Skeleseller demo, there's the link to it. And if you'd like to join either the Discord servers for Adam Learns or for Skeleseller, there are links for those. I will see you all after lunch. Have a good one.